Welcome to the Nerd in Motion YouTube channel, and today we are watching the budget. And I have my special guests. I have which hand? I'll do this one first. This is Ben, Ben Snape from Feedback Nexus.
Hi everyone.
Go and check out his website. Do you want to tell people what you do and what your background is?
Yeah, no problem. So I'm a web developer. The last 20 years, run a web development company specializing in software as a service. So basically online systems, and we've got a number of them. And our newest one is called Feedback Nexus, as John's just said, and it is designed for small SaaS companies that manage products, software products, and they want to collect feedback from their customers to make better products, basically. So to find out more, if you go to feedbacknexus.com, all one word, it's all there.
And on this side, we have Polly Aitken.
Hello! Minus the pink jacket today, because it's too chilly in here, I'm afraid.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I'm Polly. I am the owner and founder of Aitken Venture Group. So I've recently come out of the hospitality sector, and I'm now strategic partnering with businesses from lots of different industries, but working heavily as a business consultant to help SMEs actually grow, create proper branding, and scale their businesses. And helping you, John.
And helping me, because I need it.
I don't know anymore. I think you're
thoroughly
wrong.
Need it. Thoroughly. Right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna watch the live stream from Parliament. We're waiting for Rachel Reeves to get up and do her thing. So I'm gonna see if I can put this in the background. It's new software to me. Oh, there we go. That'll do. So I wondered if we could make that smaller initially. No, that makes all of you small. That makes, yeah. Ben's in charge.
Hey.
I think we'll just go like that for now. That works. We're going round and round in circles. So what? Let me just tweak a couple of bits and bobs on here whilst we're live. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I'll be working in the background, because it'll be interesting to see if we're actively getting buried by other live streams. So I'm just going to try and see what's going on. Do you guys want to talk about what you're looking for on the on this budget of special interest?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, as a former, like say, hospitality business owner, small business owner for many years, it's always of interest when you're looking at, are they going to change anything else with the national living wage, anything to do with employment? The rates that we have to pay as small businesses are already pretty crippling. Although it drives work in other areas to try and make it more streamlined. It's a really scary time, I think, for small business owners, and I'm really interested to see what the next stage of that is going to look like.
Yeah, same. I said offline before that our family's just bought a new EV, so I'm hoping this rumored price per mile for electric vehicles isn't going to come in, because the whole reason we bought it was obviously you're greener for the environment, allegedly. We can charge it at home. It's a lot less to charge. But then if we've got how the heck are they going to police that? So if I got to fill in a form every time I drive the car to say, went 5 miles to the shops today, how's that going to work?
Well, the scary bit is on those new cars that they encourage us all to get into, they're actually tittle-tattling on us. And they're giving all our information back to the manufacturer. And if you look in the small print on there, it talks about geofencing. So they also have the ability to turn your car off.
Wow.
Yeah, so they will know exactly how much tax you need to pay, because they're watching your mileage anyway.
Yeah, I know our car's got a built-in SIM card, because obviously when you're driving, it updates the traffic and the maps. So obviously the cars have had SIM cards for years, because or other diesel ones did the same. But that never even entered my head that maybe they're spying on where you're driving and what you're doing.
Oh yeah, 100%. it was very odd that there was such a rush and such a push to get us into new cars, because it's always been, if you can make your car last as long as you can, that's the best, really best for the environment and best for you know, you personally, if you can keep something as long going as you possibly can. But then, yeah, it was like, no, we need to, everything needs to be electric. Everything needs to be, environmentally friendly. I mean, the madness of the EV is that it is obviously cleaner here, but the pollution starts somewhere else from the mining and the building of the vehicle. So I don't think you're really doing any good anywhere.
It's sort of turned them into those like throwaway commodities, though, hasn't it? It's had like the Amazon effect of like buy it and bin it, rather than, like, I know we've talked about it offline as well, John, about the longevity of these older cars, like the older diesel cars. They go forever, not what people are buying into now.
100%.
Also, remember years ago when they were encouraging everyone to buy diesels, and now they're like, oh no, actually, they're a bit bad.
Yeah.
I wish they'd make their minds up.
I know, absolutely. And I think that's the thing, is people get a bit confused because they change the goalposts with so many things so frequently. So a couple of times a year, we have this thing of what's going to be the next trend, because that in effect is what it's starting to feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, it keeps doing this. I think it's deliberately done so that we don't stream it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think they flick it out.
Is it due to go start at 12, is it?
Normally, it starts at 12, something like that. It's interesting. The diesel thing was quite a big mistake, really, because the whole reason why we have so many diesels in the UK is based on the fact that it was driven by the tax incentives.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have stuck with petrol. But basically, I went to, well, I said basically, but I'll go back in a circle there. I went to a car show and it was for mechanics. I can't remember what it's called now. It's based at NEC. And I went and they had the transport MP or whatever they are, the expert in charge. And we asked some questions about, cars and emissions and stuff like that. And he said, well, it's simple. You just turn the screw down. And we're like, well, all due respect, we haven't had screws on fuel injection for like the last 8 years. Like, turning things up and down, it just isn't like that. And they literally have no idea. They know nothing about vehicles. So the whole diesel thing was CO2 is bad. So yes, diesel engines put out less CO2, but they do produce more particulate matter.
Yeah.
You've only got to stand in a room with a petrol car that's got a cat and a room with a diesel car, and you know straight away that the diesel's bad for you, really, really bad for you in comparison to each other.
Yeah.
So we all knew what was coming. They gave all the tax incentives based on CO2 to then only go further down the line and then them go, oh, actually, this pumps out something called NOx. We didn't know what it is, and actually that's really, really poisonous and really bad for you. And we were like, yeah, funny we said that. And so now they want to clamp down on the diesels, but they can't, because it's too late. There's so many in the market. Now, the electric car thing, I mean, I don't think they have any clue that the real impact of electric cars and what's going to happen when we get rid of them all.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Like, what's next?
Exactly. Il Corvo, how you doing, my man? If we can get through without any tax hike, I'll call that a qualified success.
Agreed. I think we've got slim chances there.
Yeah, it'll be stealth taxes somehow, won't it?
Yeah.
As they call them.
I think it'd be interesting. So how I'm going to look at this today, the budget today, is through like 4 different lenses. So like money, middle, micro businesses, and momentum. And by that, I mean like money is obviously who pays. So what they say one thing will still have a knock-on effect somewhere else. So who pays? And what does it really mean for those in the middle? Because I think a lot of us fit into that bracket. And then micro businesses, and again, John, I know you're similar position to me on this. We've been in that. Like, how do these things actually affect the micro businesses? These are a lot of the clients that I work with, you're going to be working with. And then the momentum is like, will it actually help to build momentum? And for me, I'm going to try and pillar it in those 4 things and actually see what the answers look like when you've got sort of different glasses to put on for each topic that they talk about.
I think, to be honest, what have they leaked? Because it's always, the leaking thing's really interesting, because in theory you shouldn't leak any information at all. So why do they leak it, and what have they leaked this time round? I think the reason why they leak these things is so that it's a bit like, one of my kids likes to know what everything's going on all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you just shock him with a bit of change, he doesn't like it. So it's ideal just to drip feed the idea in, so that when it comes to it, it's not a big shock.
It's not a shock,
And I think that's what this is about.
Mm.
And it gives them a chance, doesn't it? If they say like, oh, we're changing the tax to pay per mile, you've all had the opportunity to have a think about it.
Yeah, rather than it, like I say, just being a massive impact on hearing it on the announcement.
And also the other thing with the electric car thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but because of this, what's it, zero carbon, what do they call it in the car term? There's, net zero, but it's like for vehicles. Every time they sell a car that has a combustion engine, they get a fine of £5,000. So they want to push selling electric cars, otherwise they've got all these fines to pay, and it's killing the European car manufacturers, because Europe's imposed this on them, and at the same time they're allowing all the Chinese cars over in droves, which aren't even signed up into that group at all.
Just different.
Rob on the road, he's a fellow trucker. My mate is called Tyke. AdBlue turned out to be useless anyway. It was brought because of high concentration of NOx in cities. It's no good for the open road. Now they say studies show the AdBlue. So I'm trying to work out what you're saying, that it's not good for the open road, and now they said studies show that. Well, it doesn't surprise me. So, have you guys ever had a car with AdBlue?
My car has AdBlue, and it tells me all the time that I need to top up the AdBlue. But I have no idea what it does, other than when it tells you that you need to do it, if it gets to 0, it genuinely doesn't start. That's all I've learned about it.
Yeah, I've had one car. My last diesel was AdBlue. We had it. We had the car for a couple, 2-3 years, and never topped it up once. So I don't know how big. We're not driving hundreds of miles though. We're just school runs and whatnot. But So I think I've heard it goes. Is it called limp mode, John, where it'll only go over a certain mile an hour if you've got none in?
That's the one. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well,
so basically, how it works is it captures the exhaust matter as it comes out into the diesel particulate filter. So it stops that particulate matter from flying out the exhaust, basically. The newer the car, the more of it that it tends to use. So in trucks, you get through gallons and gallons of it. But the older trucks that have it, they take a long time. You might get 3 tanks of diesel to 1 tank of AdBlue.
Yeah.
But on the new ones, you'll get maybe 1.5 to 2 tanks of fuel to 1 AdBlue.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think they put it into, well, they must have put it in as a bit of an afterthought on certain cars, because I know on my VW, when I bought it, they told me categorically it didn't have AdBlue because it wasn't near the petrol hub. And then however many hundreds of miles later, when it flashed upon the dashboard that you need to put some in, it was a bit like, oh, where do you find that? And it turns out like they've cut a hole in the bottom of the boot underneath where the bloody spare tire is to get to. Yeah, honestly, it's an absolute nightmare. So you try filling that up in a car that's like always rammed with kids stuff for a start, so that's a nightmare. But I guess it must have failed emissions or something, and they'll have had to have just gone, right, yeah, we'll just sling it underneath.
It sounds like a massive afterthought, that one.
Yeah, oh, it's a nightmare, honestly. Like, we curse every time it comes up.
Yeah, no, I think if I remember rightly, ours was you open the diesel flap, and there's 2 slots. There's one with a little blue cap, obviously, and one for your diesel. So, yeah, that was a more modern car though. So I don't know how old's yours.
So that one is on a 16-plate Tiguan, but I had a 67 Mercedes that had it next to the diesel as well.
Yeah.
So that made total sense. But now the palaver of removing a spare tire and lifting the boot flap thing that holds everything down is just a nightmare. To be fair,
and then you've got to work out how the heck you're going to funnel it in without splashing it all over your boot.
Yeah, and it's really like, it's not pleasant stuff to get on you either.
No, it stinks, doesn't it? Apparently, I've never smelt it, but doesn't it smell like urine or chlorine?
Like urea. It has.
Yeah, it is urea. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strong smell.
Tyke says residues linger in the air, and they may be linked to breathing problems in kids. See, now this is always the argument, isn't it? They always put kids at the end of something because then you can't argue with it. Because if you do argue about it, then you don't like children and you're an evil person.
Well, kids are breathing different air to us, you know.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah, it's just. Studies are still going on in the States where they call it deaf. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think to be honest, when that AdBlue system came out, it was all a bit of an afterthought, and the problem is quite often it starts with legislation. So they'll just legislate something, and then everybody has to remanufacture everything to make it fit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that up on the chat. No, I will.
I was trying to say that in a nice way, Rob, before, so I've heard that as well.
Awful. Yeah,
but the rumor is, I don't actually know how they make it, but they all say it's from the industry, from slaughtering pigs and all this, but I don't know how real that is, to be
so actually honest. On that note, if you were caught short and you were running out, could you do a little waz in your tank to top it up?
Well, I've heard rumors of people trying that and it not working, so I don't know.
Probably not.
I know that people have tried to top them up with water, and there's a sensor in there that knows.
Yeah,
so you can't get away with that. But yeah, it's mental. The whole thing's mental. It's just like you're just moving the problem further down the line.
Yeah.
That's ultimately the issue. And all of these things pollute. It doesn't matter what they are. If you look at the catalytic converters and the diesel filters and all those things, they all come straight from mining.
There's a bad problem in America with people stealing catalytic converters, isn't it? And because they're worth thousands, and the minerals inside.
That's it. Well, we have it here. Same issue. When the price of scrap goes up, they start going missing. Palladium, platinum, gold. Yeah. It's all in there. Rhodium, I think they have in them. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Here he is. Our illustrious leader. Let's see what he's got to say.
Oh yeah, it's 12 o'clock now.
Let's put him onto unmute this guy. Can you hear him?
No.
Okay, I know what I've done.
And cutting the cost of living.
Yeah, that's it.
No, we can't.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today. Rachel Hopkins.
Chat, is that loud enough for you?
Speaker. For years and years, rail fares have gone up and up, but this is set to change next year. Can the Prime Minister confirm that commuters in my constituency will see around £400 saving on their annual season ticket as a result of this government raising rail fares? And can he confirm this is only possible because we have a Labour government?
Well, I can confirm next year we're freezing rail fares for the first time in 30 years.
I'm just going to shuffle us
saving
around
millions
so
of
you can
commuters
see it.
hundreds of pounds. And
second.
yes, that's only possible because we have a Labour government investing in Great British Railways and putting more money in the pockets of passengers. Contrast our approach with the leader of the opposition who says the minimum wage is a burden, she thinks, and she wants to means test the state pension.
We now come to the Leader of the Opposition, Kerry Byrne.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I first pay tribute to the many farmers who have come to Westminster today to protest the shameful attack on them in last year's budget. I want them to know that Conservatives stand with them.
Well, why didn't you do anything when you were in
Mr.
power
Speaker?
last night? Unreal.
We stand with
Mr. Speaker, this has been the most chaotic lead-up to a budget in living memory, with resignations, hostile briefings, and
Here's the
Can I
blame
just say to a
game now.
couple of you,
Everyone
if you
blaming
don't
everyone
want
else.
the budget,
Yeah.
Make your mind up now.
He's from Yorkshire, tell me what.
Get your mind up now.
nobody wants this budget, Mr. Speaker.
Captain
With
Cornish is not happy about
resignations,
it.
hostile briefings, and leaks galore,
Fully
even
agree.
just in the last 10 minutes, an unprecedented leak of the OBR analysis. Mr. Speaker, these leaks have been so serious that even the former chief economist of the Bank of England has said, and I quote, that Labour's fiscal fandango is the single biggest reason why growth has flatlined. Does the Prime Minister agree with Andy Haldane, and does he have an explanation for this complete shambles?
We all know
Fiscal
the biggest shambles in
fandango,
living
that's a
history.
new one.
The Liz
I like
Truss
that
budget.
Fandango. Bill Corbett says,
Did she
I
say,
take a
I
guess
don't
that
agree,
government
this
is here
must be
to
wrong? No,
support
she
you
said,
unless you're
I
a
think
normal,
Liz Truss is
hard-working
100%
person,
right. 100%.
Here on that one.
Room for flexibility. Not one thing was wrong with it, in her view. So we won't be taking lectures from her. Matters for the OBR.
I'm
The
sorry,
chance
but I
to set out
can't
the
help but
budget
feel
in
like
just
it's
a
a
few
modern
minutes'
day
time.
version of Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah, it
Speaker,
is.
we're talking about the leaks. The Prime Minister doesn't seem to appreciate the impact of these budget leaks on the UK economy. Even the Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister has said this morning that the leaks were unacceptable. So will the Prime Minister launch an investigation into the budget leaks and punish those responsible?
Mr. Speaker, it's literally about 25 minutes before the budget will be set out in Orly, where we'll take further decisions. The Chancellor will set it out, but thanks to the decisions she's already taken, we've got 5 million extra NHS appointments, waiting lists are coming down, mortgages are cheaper, we've expanded free school meals. That's 100,000 children lifted out of poverty, a moral mission for this government. Compare that to the record opposite any day of the week.
Mortgages are cheaper, are they?
Mr. Speaker, he talks about the decisions she's already taken. If they were that great, we wouldn't have all those farmers outside protesting. He doesn't want to talk about leaks, but we can see that the chaos in Number 10
I
is
fully
having
agree with
real-world
Captain
consequences.
Cornish there.
Instead of
It's
focusing on the economy,
nonsense
they've
where
been
they do this.
fighting like rats. Several journalists
Totally.
reported that Number 10 sources had briefed against the Health Secretary and other senior cabinet ministers.
I just knocked
The
it
Prime
down a little
Minister
bit.
then
I don't
told
know if
us
that's
that these
better for
briefings
everybody
did not
speaking here,
come
all
from
of
Number
Yeah,
10.
it is a little
Will
bit.
he repeat on the floor of the House the claim that none of his advisers has briefed against members of the cabinet?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I've been really clear about this. No one in Number 10 has briefed against cabinet ministers. And the Health Secretary is doing a fantastic job. He stood before the electorate just before the last election. He said we'd deliver 2 million extra appointments for the NHS in the first year of a Labour government. There he is. What did he do? Not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 million extra appointments for the NHS. They don't understand this language, Mr. Speaker, because they left everything absolutely broken.
Yeah, but these appointments, I had all these random
Mr. Speaker,
appointments
the Prime
for
Minister
an
expects
operation
us to
I
believe
had.
him. No one
and
does.
on my,
We
on
all
a
know that he did
thing
not
in my
have
head.
a serious leak inquiry.
And
What he
they
did,
just
what he
kept
did, Mr.
cancelling
Speaker,
the
was he asked
appointment.
Morgan McSweeney
Yeah, but
to
it'll have
investigate
ticked as
Morgan
they've made the
McSweeney,
appointment,
and then-
even if they didn't
And then
fulfill
Morgan
it.
McSweeney
Yeah.
discovered that Morgan McSweeney was innocent. all of this calls into question the Prime Minister's judgment. All of this This calls into question the Prime Minister's judgment. We read this weekend that he wants
It looks that
the
way, doesn't it?
former
It
Deputy
certainly
Prime
looks that way.
Minister back in his cabinet. He must have forgotten that she had to resign only a few months ago for tax evasion.
I think the
When
budget
did the
bit
Prime
must be at
Minister
half
decide
past.
that lawbreakers
Yeah,
can
I
be
think it
lawmakers?
is. That it's
Mr.
just
Speaker, while she's scrolling
20
through
more
Twitter,
minutes of.
20
we've
more
delivered
minutes of
rail fares
these Muppets.
frozen,
It literally is that, isn't it?
The Muppet Show.
frozen, the minimum wage,
I just think of, you know, like
the cost of living, the single
Brian
biggest
Bedondi
for this country,
off
focusing on
off Face Jack.
Face Jacker, yeah.
Hello, Burly Burr. That's what he sounds
I
like.
saw a thing on Facebook. Is he coming back or bringing something back?
Yeah, I saw that.
Saw it
And I
yesterday.
wondered.
To shore up his crumbling leadership.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
To welcome her back.
I don't know.
Will he
It's
set a condition that
let's
she must
see if
pay
I can
back
shuffle
the
us around again.
£40,000
There we go.
property taxes she avoided, the same
It's
property taxes they're very happy to
it's
pay on
interesting
everyone
because
else? And will she also
I'm just
return
looking now, and we're
£17,000 of
being
severance?
buried by other
Mr. Speaker, the former
other
Deputy
bigger
Prime
channels
Minister is the biggest
like
social
Sky
minority
News,
story this
etc.
country has ever
Yeah.
told.
It's quite interesting that they don't want us to get seen on here for some reason.
Well, I don't think it's a shock, is it really? No, nobody wants to hear like normal people have an actual opinion on stuff like this.
I've never heard the Prime Minister
No,
speak
it's
so
true.
highly of
It's
people
true. I'm
working
just
with
going to have a
their
quick
taxes.
look at. So the
But
Sky
in
News
summary,
is up.
This just looks like a government that is a slow motion car
The
crash.
budget news
His cabinet
coverage.
are briefing against each other. His
I just think they're so far removed from real life. And like, I mean, I've grown up around politics, but it's literally any small business. If take this as you want, but as you look at that room full of people, even now, giving half an hour of their time to sit and listen to this absolute drivel. Imagine if they put that 30 minutes to something useful. All those salaries, 30 minutes each, you'd actually achieve something, not just nodding along and cheering like you're in the schoolyard.
And
Yeah.
all the expenses they'll be
Yeah,
claiming to get there as well.
to get there and stay there, because God, they
Hotels.
definitely wouldn't have been able to travel there this morning. They'll have needed to go there last night and stay over and have dinner and all the rest of it. Like no other small business could do that. Like no normal business could do that. I just think it's disgusting. Like it's already been set. I don't really understand why they all have to be there. They're not going to change it today.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole thing's concerning for me because I'm looking and what I see is that everything's slowing down,
Yeah.
and so as it slows down, if this is what we learned in 2008. If you say, "Oh, it's crashing," then everybody stops spending, and then we do have a crash.
Yeah.
And in this, it's slowing down. We're slowing down and slowing down. The food bills are just getting higher and higher and higher.
It's
I
a
mean,
joke.
we're at £200 a week nearly with food for
Yeah, we're
five
not
of
far
us.
off that as well.
And I'm like, I wouldn't say we're extravagant. We're eating blooming name brand cereal, not name brand cereal. We're having like Little Zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, being
Yeah,
sensible.
And they're trying to con us into saying that everything's okay. And I think we start to see that, and it. You know, in fact, Captain Cornish, you make a really good point here, which I want to talk about. They're rich; they don't care for the common people, and I think this is the problem. They're in a bubble
Definitely.
of just total and utter echo chamber of the people around them, and they've completely lost touch with the real people. And they think that real people is when they meet them in their what do you call it, the surgeries that they have and stuff like that. They think that is the big thing.
Yeah.
No normal person's going to go to any of them because you haven't got time. You're busy working, aren't you?
Exactly. And we haven't got a voice anymore. The whole thing is a joke.
I don't think it's that we haven't got one, it's they don't want to hear it. I think there's a lot of ways, including what we're doing now, where you could speak to the people in our bracket, but they don't actually want to hear that. So it's better to not make it available.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's my mind's racking on how we can get out more. If you're watching this, the 5 people that are watching now, if you could share this out, because there's thousands of people watching, but they're all sat on news channels like Sky and stuff like that, where nobody will respond to you or talk about what's going on. It's just, yeah, you're going to be lost in the ether. So, yeah, I wanted to put this here so people could have their say. You see,
Can we push this out onto our socials somehow? How do I do that? I was better side. It would be easier, wouldn't it?
I don't think I can do anything from this software we're using, John.
No, I'm tag stuffing and doing all sorts of naughty stuff this to try and get it. Stick that in there. It's funny how they're burying it.
Where would it be if I was looking you up on YouTube?
You should just be able to put in, live UK budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's going to be hundreds of big channels, though, that they would promote over us.
You only need a few, and then it all kicks off.
Is this on your Nerd in Motion channel?
Yeah, it's on the bigger one. It's on the biggest channel we've got.
You see, that's the thing as well, right? Some people say that YouTube aren't sending the notifications out because people are not, is that a thing? People don't receive the notification even though they're fully subscribed for all notifications.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
And is that YouTube somehow shadow banning you?
Yeah, it can be, yeah. I know certainly with mine, it'll only send out a certain amount. And I think what it does is it only sends to the people that are maybe more engaged in commenting than actual,
And also, I've heard things that if you say certain words on your live stream, they can flag it in the back end, so they'll push it down. I don't know what these words are, like swearing or controversial stuff, that they'll just bury you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there is a lot of left-leaning people that work within Google that if they don't agree with anything you say, they'll try and bury it.
Yeah.
So, that's just how it is, unfortunately.
There was an issue back in 2020 when the C word happened and the pandemic, and people were saying that if I mention this word, my channel, this live stream will be taken down. I don't know how true that was.
That happens. That happened. I had it with the trucker protest, and they tried to take me down and all sorts of stuff. It's crazy.
Il Corvo saying you appeared on YouTube for me.
Excellent.
Excellent. His notification worked, or her.
Just go into the the Sky News chat and say, "Hey, there's a better live stream going on. You want to go and watch this? They're actually talking about what's going on."
And it's not just what's going on; it's how it's actually going to affect people. Because I think sometimes the news channels, they make it so overcomplicated. You don't actually understand what the impact is until 3 days later when you've done your homework.
You need it in layman's terms, don't you? This is what's happening, and this is how you're going to be affected. Blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
Not all this flipping Parliament speak that you need a degree to understand what they're even talking about.
No, I don't even think they know what they're talking about half the time. It's a bit like solicitors' letters, isn't it? It's just a lot of jargon and not a lot of simplicity and clarity.
Yeah.
100%. Captain Cornish says, the only opinion they listen to is the one they like. It's always the way. Always the way. Just the whole way things are going at the moment is, if you don't agree with somebody, don't try and debate them. Try and shout them down and call them names.
Yeah.
Rob says, I'm not a socialist. I believe taxes are theft. Taxes and benefits disincentivize people from taking menial jobs. Taxes less money in workers' pockets. So how does that grow the economy? Taxes less money. I think I think I probably read that wrong, but
I think what he's meaning is obviously the taxes to benefits thing, meaning that they're not going to take the normal, like where you have to start when you have to go back to the bottom. People don't want to be there anymore. They feel more entitled to be way higher up the ladder than that, and actually, that's where society's got a massive problem.
It's true, and yeah, everybody wants to be a YouTube influencer. But you listen to the kids now, and you say, "What do you want to be when you're older?" Oh, I want to do TikTok, or I want to be a streamer.
I want to be an influencer. My daughters say that. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Luckily, mine haven't said that yet. But I'm glad I appeared anyway. That's the start. Yeah, it's very interesting how they behave. I think has it. Well, I mean, the problem is I was never that interested in politics as a child. And my dad kind of explained it to me, but he just said, all you need to know is they all lie to you. And I thought, well, but I don't know, just the way it looks now. I always thought the Labour were the people that fought for the people, that were for the working classes, for the guys in the factories, to make sure that there was a backstop against capitalism taking over to the absolute nth degree. And now we've gone like, it seems like they don't care about the people at all, and they've got this agenda of pulling more and more people in. And giving loads of money out, and not really. If you grow the economy, we all win, don't we? Because ultimately, there's more money in the system for healthcare, for schools, for transport, for infrastructure.
Yeah, but it's basic business though. Money in versus money out. Like that's literally the top and bottom of how this needs to run. And yeah, there's certain things that the NHS or whatever can provide. And personally, I've had really good experience with the NHS on the levels that we've needed it. But when you see it full of waiting rooms full of people waiting for a free paracetamol that you can buy at 39 pence at B&M Bargains, that's entitlement is all wrong. They should be told, no, you go to B&M Bargains and there's a 39p product that you need to buy. And if that means you can't buy your cigarettes, or it means you can't buy the branded Cocoa Pops this week, then that's what that is. Because there are people, not like you, John, that are on the Lidl brand that should be. But it's this entitlement thing, and it's warped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the problem is some of that warped thinking comes out of, I think, school and from social media.
Oh, social media has a lot to answer for, definitely.
Yeah, you look at social media and it's all about, like, you look at Instagram, for instance.
Yeah.
And everybody is showing all these amazing things that they're doing. And you think, oh, I'm not doing any of that.
A lot of it's fake, though, isn't it?
But also, like, where does self-discipline come into this? If it affects you that much, delete it. Go back to the real world.
Like, yeah, it's true.
We grew up in an era, I presume we all did similarly, where we had MTV Cribs rammed down our necks. We saw The Life and the Rich and the Famous. That was our version of social media. We didn't not go to work because we couldn't achieve that great big US mansion. We just put it in its box. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? But that isn't actually reality, so you carry on. I think the problem with social media is the indoctrination on your phone all the time of this. This could be you. You can make 10 grand an hour or whatever they're trying to tell you now. Like, yeah, you probably can, but not without a huge amount of graft.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary, but I think that's where the parenting crisis comes in as well, where parents need to go, do you know what? No, you're not going on social media. Like, quite simple. Problem.
Yeah. We tried that, but it's harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
We're all Apple in our house, so that's one bonus. So you can set up the family app, and obviously with younger kids, you can say you can only have, they call it screen time. So let's say we say you've got 2 hours screen time. After that 2 hours, their phone's virtually useless because obviously everything's gone off. They can record, but we found out that they were just requesting more time. We'd just go, yeah, more time, yeah. And we're like, what's the point of having it if we're just accepting it all the time?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter, she's only allowed one platform, and we're very strict with it. So we check her phone on the regular, well, Lids does, and we make sure that, you know, all the kid filter stuff is turned on. My boys are just not allowed on social media because they would both be a nightmare. I'm more worried about the other people out there than them. So they need to be off it well and truly. And they're just too young. I'd rather have them, like, we've bought a tent, we're going to go camping this summer and do a bunch of stuff. That's really the nuts and bolts of it, of getting them out there and doing stuff. But the problem is the weather in winter, it's dark, they come home from school, you know, you've got to try and get them to do stuff. So the only thing I find is, like, lots of kids clubs, doing stuff, meeting people, going places.
Yeah.
We find that if they're busy, they're doing something. They're not thinking about the phone. It's just that if they're sat in the room after school, like ours are, they're just, the first thing they get is their iPad or the phone.
Yeah.
And we had a scary conversation with our youngest, literally last week. She went really sad and upset and just would start crying for no reason. I don't know what's wrong. Anyway, we got to the bottom of it, that she was seeing things on Snapchat that she shouldn't have been seeing, right? Just think about what that could be.
Yeah.
And I was fuming. I was like, how the hell is a young girl being sent that as the feed? Anyway, she came to us and said, can you take Snapchat off? It's upsetting me. I'm like, how's that possible? No. What's going on?
It doesn't
It's scary, isn't it? It's really scary. At least you had the confidence in your parenting, like, relationship to come to you, because other children don't have that, do they? And
well, we knew something was going wrong because she'd be upset or depressed, or not depressed, you know, seems depressed, and then she'd just be sniveling in her room, and we were like, what's going on? What's happening at school? What blah blah blah? And then we uncovered it. It was people hurting themselves on Snapchat that she was getting recommended, and we were like, what? I didn't even know Snapchat had reels and stuff like that.
Wow.
That's terrible.
That was a wake-up call for us.
Yeah. I think when you're not in the loop of it, though, that's where it gets scary, isn't it? Because I didn't know that was a thing either. We're not quite at that point in our family life yet. Still too little.
Well, we found a video of a guy who tested TikTok, and he put in that he was, I think he was like 12 or 13-year-old girl, and put in, like, body confidence issues, makeup to cover up weight loss, all this kind of stuff, and within, I think it was like 15 minutes, it was showing self-harm stuff. Yeah. So it's bad. It's unfortunate that it's out there, but you got to remember what some of these things are here to destroy society and not build. Rob says the thing is, there is no true capitalism. Since the bankers set up the Bank of England and all other central banks, the corporatists took over. That's when they started measuring GDP. Interesting.
I thank him for his question and his contribution to this important debate, and of course, contribution.
It's coming up soon, I think, isn't it? 4 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's on time.
And then he says, because... Oh, I've pressed something. There we go. Because they started creating money, actually promissory notes, promises to pay from thin air, backed up by the goods and services, future taxes of workers. That's right, they did do that. And also, so I did stocks and shares during... I was learning about it during COVID, and I learned how crooked the American stock market is. So, say I've got one share here, and you two want to buy a share. In theory, I could give you a promise to pay, Polly.
Yeah.
And that should be the end of it, and I hold the share. But what they do is they go, oh, you can have a promise to pay, you can have a promise to pay, and everybody in that parliament can have a promise to pay, but there still is only one share. So they create a bunch of shares, and that's how they short companies into oblivion.
Wow.
and they're just constantly creating more and more money, because as soon as that share is shared multiple times, all of those shares then have a value to them. But if you called all the shares in, it would collapse. So it's madness. It's like, it's all made up. It's totally.
A lot of I don't understand the economy, and I don't pretend to, but a lot of it is all promises. And you'll get this when we get that. No one ever actually gets anything. It's all made up money. I don't understand it.
No, me neither. Anywhere working for the government is not a net payer into the system, because they get paid from real workers in the private sector who actually produce something. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you forget about all the public sector workers, that they're all the money, where all the money comes from. I think we've got. I think this is a scammer, because we don't normally see stuff like that. So I might take that user out. There you go.
Rob's saying those things are called derivatives. Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. When is she going to get up? She's got 1 minute.
Oh.
She'll be bricking it.
Do you think she'll cry again?
Hopefully she's not going to cry, because that's going to look even worse. But I must say, I'm quite anxious about hearing what she's going to change.
How long normally does the budget speech bit last?
It can vary. I think the shortest one was like half an hour, and the longest one was like 4 hours long, wasn't it? But on average, under an hour.
Right.
I think this will be a quick.
I do.
She'll want to be in and out quick.
Like, yeah, it's all going to shit. Bye, and then run off.
Yeah, all the booing she's going to get, she'll do it, and then she'll be out the door.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's true. Il Corvo. It's about how big a shadow of wealth you can cast upon the wall.
That's a good analogy.
So true. Be interesting to see if they try and take the stream down. In the member of Clacton. Oh, he's going after Farage. You know, it's interesting. I watched the thing where they attacked Farage and all mocked him in Parliament, and they were all shouting him down. And I thought, regardless of whether you agree or you like or dislike him, he's leading the poll in.
Yeah.
And the national silent majority of the real people are the guys that like him. And to shout down him in that manner is the same way that it almost symbolised the way that they're shouting down the general public.
Yeah.
And I think it's not a good thing. Oh, here we go.
Hang on. It's happening. Oh, something's happening. Is it a tea break?
I'm going to turn it up on there.
Point of order, Melstride.
What?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. On a point of order, Madam Deputy Speaker. This morning, we have seen an unprecedented leak of the OBR's Economic and Fiscal Outlook report before the budget. This report contains market-sensitive information. It is utterly outrageous that this has happened, and this leak may indeed constitute a criminal act. In Prime Minister's questions, the Leader of the Opposition asked the Prime Minister about this leak, but he refused to answer her question. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, please can you advise this House what steps are at its disposal to force a leak inquiry into this matter? And would it be possible to ask the Table Office to distribute copies of the report given to the House, given that everybody outside of this House has already had the opportunity to read it?
Can't we just sort this leak out later on? Just get the budget out now and we can all talk about it.
This is not a point of order for the Chair.
Yeah.
The Chancellor is about to make her budget statement, and I expect members and their constituents wish to hear from the Chancellor directly. However, before I call the Chancellor to speak, I nonetheless wish to make a short statement.
Oh.
For a number of weeks, And yet again yesterday, there have been extensive briefings to the media on the government's fiscal policy and public finances. This disappointing trend in relation to budget briefings has been growing for a number of years under successive governments, but appears to have reached an unprecedented high. Weeks ago, we saw the Chancellor delivering a speech in Downing Street, setting the scene for the budget, as well as specific policy announcements being briefed out to the media in advance of today's financial statements. And I don't need any help. And just a moment ago, it seems the OBR analysis has also appeared online. This all falls short of standards that the House expects. The premature disclosure of the contents of the budget has always been regarded as a supreme discourtesy to this House and to all the democratically elected members, not to mention to Mr. Speaker and to myself, the Chairman of Ways and Means. The government's own ministerial code cannot be clearer, as set out in paragraph 9.1. When Parliament is in session, the most important announcements of government policy should be made in the first instance to Parliament. Mr. Speaker has always upheld the rights of this House and its members to be treated with respect and to be the first to hear major government policy announcements on behalf of their constituents. As Chairman of Ways and Means, I have responsibility to oversee the House's consideration of the budget statement and the ensuing resolutions, which are described in Erskine May paragraph 36-33 as the most important business of Ways and Means in this House. I want honourable members on all sides of the House to have adequate opportunity to hold the Chancellor to account, rather than hear and read about new policies on a daily basis in the media. And like many, I also expected better. Before I call the Chancellor of the Exchequer, I remind honourable members that copies of the budget resolutions will be available to them from the vote office in members' lobby at the end of the Chancellor's statement and online. Shh. I also remind honourable members that interventions are not taken during the Chancellor's statement, nor during replies to the Leader of the Opposition or the Leader of the Liberal Democrats. I call the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
At last.
Oh, gosh.
Here we go. He put some smack down there. She's not happy.
Madam Deputy Speaker.
Chancellor.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it is my understanding that the Office of Budget Responsibility's Economic and Financial Outlook was released on their website before this statement. This is deeply disappointing and a serious error on their part. The Office for Budget Responsibility have already made a statement taking full responsibility for their breach. Madam Deputy Speaker, we are rebuilding our economy. Over the last 16 months, we have overhauled our planning system to get Britain building, forged new trade deals with the United States, India and the European Union, reformed our visa system to bring the brightest and the best to Britain. We changed our fiscal rules
They look bright and they look like engineers and doctors, don't they?
and raised public investment to its highest level in 4 decades. And in last year's budget, I raised taxes on business and the wealthiest to close the £22 billion black hole in the public finances left by the party opposites. And we used that money to fund the biggest ever settlement for our National Health Service. They were the fair and necessary choices, and we faced opposition to them, from opponents to planning reform, who will always demand that the future is built somewhere else, not in their backyard. Opponents to trade, who want to take us down the path of isolation and division. Opponents to investment, who believe that the only good thing a government can do is get out of the way.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Opponents who insist
This is
that the only
all
way
this
to
we're doing
balance
is
the
because of
books
their
is to
fault.
cut public spending.
Yeah.
And opponents who say that we don't need to balance the books at all. But we made these choices for a reason. Because after 14 years of Conservative government, working people demanded and deserved change.
Yeah, well, we really wanted to be cracked online and
not cuts to our public services.
to the nth degree.
Stability for our public finances. The single most important factor in getting the cost of living down. And economic growth.
Yep.
The best means to improve wages.
I've never ever
jobs,
watched a budget.
and
This is my
support
first
public
one. I always
services.
just read it up later on
That
to
is
find,
what
the
our
bullet
plan- that
points.
is what
This might be your
government
first
and
and
our
last
Prime
one,
Minister
then.
are all
Yeah,
about.
yeah, it's going that way.
A load of
I
nonsense.
Today's budget
should have got a Red
builds
Bull or
on the
something. I'm
choices
falling
that we have
asleep here.
made since July last year. To cut
There are other
NHS waiting
energy
lists,
drinks available.
to cut
Yeah.
the cost of living, and to cut debt and borrowing.
I like Monster.
No doubt we will face opposition again, but I have yet to see a credible or a fairer alternative plan for working people. These are my choices, the right choices for a fairer, a stronger
It's a
and
packed
more
house in
secure
there today,
Britain.
isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Far
Standing
too much
room
noise, and
only.
I expected so much better from you, Dr. Luke Evans. You're meant to be a leader in your community.
Naughty boy.
Simmer down, Chancellor.
I'm happy for them to shout
Doesn't
as
mind me
much-
when they
much as
constantly
like,
talk about
Madam
working
Deputy
people,
Speaker,
though,
as long as
because
they
it
do
seems to
from the
discard
opposition
any
benches where
business
they can't
owner
cause
as they're
any-
not
Yeah.
working people.
Yeah, exactly.
The risk takers
I
are
said
actually
there would be
made
no
for jobs.
return to austerity,
Well, they'll
and I
take all
meant
the
it.
corporation crap top as well, won't they?
This
And
budget
all
will
the rest of it.
maintain
Well,
investment
yeah.
in our economy and in our National Health Service. I said I would cut the cost of living, and I meant it. This
I can't
budget
see it.
will bring
I can't
down
either.
inflation and provide immediate relief for families. I said
Highest
I would cut debt
energy
and
cost
borrowing, and
in the
I
world
meant
at the
it.
moment, I think.
Because of this budget, borrowing will fall as a share of GDP in every year of this forecast. Our net financial debt will be lower at the end of the forecast than it is today, and I will more than double the
true.
headroom against our stability rule to £21.7 billion, meeting our stability rule and meeting it a year early. These are my choices. Not austerity, not borrowing, not turning a blind eye to unfairness. My choices are a budget for fair taxes, strong public services, and a stable economy. That is the Labour choice.
Fair as long as
Growth
it goes
is the
their way.
engine that carries every one of our
Always.
ambitions forward.
It's always
Through stability,
like playing against the
investment,
casino,
and
isn't it?
reform.
Yeah.
With these
The
guys.
platform
Yeah, the
from
croupier
which
wins.
British ambition
rigged.
can finally get moving again. Because growth doesn't just appear out of thin air. It is built patiently and stubbornly by people who take risks, by founders who bet their savings on an idea,
Oh.
by firms breaking into new markets, developing new technologies, and
Well,
creating
stop-
new jobs
stop
and new
taxing us so much then, and we
opportunities.
might be able to.
By the men and the women who work hard every day in all parts of our country. Our job is not to watch from the sidelines, but to partner with them, backing them every step of the way.
With their
To
hand
match
out like this.
private enterprise with public ambition. I would like to thank my team of officials at the Treasury for their hard work in preparing this budget. In the spring, the Office of Budget Responsibility
5
forecast
minutes
that our
of
economy would
waffle.
grow by 1% this year. I said then that Britain would defy the forecasts, and defy them we have. The OBR have upgraded Britain's growth for this year from 1% to 1.5%.
What did I talk about yesterday, Polly?
Reaching the
Literally.
same conclusions
Told
as
ya.
the IMF, the OECD,
Nonsense.
and the Bank of England. who have
It's through
already
quantitative
upgraded their
easing
forecasts.
done stealthily by bringing in
Today, the
immigrants.
OBR have published the result of their review of the supply side of the economy. They are clear that this is not about the last 14 months. It is about the previous 14 years. The legacy of Brexit and the pandemic, and the damaging decisions by the party opposite. cutting public spending, leaving communities and entire regions behind, starving our economy of investment and weakening our public services. As a result of their review, the OBR are reducing their expectations for productivity growth by 0.3 percentage points to 1% by the end of the forecast. They say today, and I quote,
like you say it's your fault.
real GDP is
Yeah.
forecast to grow by 1.5% on average over the forecast due to lower underlying productivity growth. There is an impact on our public finances too. The OBR say that their productivity
What does OBR
forecast
mean?
will mean £16 billion
I'm not
less
sure. I've
in
written it
tax
down on my notes a
receipts
few times.
by
What
2020.
office is this something?
These forecasts are the Tories' legacy, not
Office of Budget Responsibility.
Right, that's it.
I feel like listening to what she's saying is a bit like playing Monopoly with my son when he's the banker.
It is very hard to hear.
Or like he sneaks a few like red hotels and greenhouses wherever he wants, gets a few more notes out the bank,
You
and goes,
promised
"Oh,
me
look, this is
yesterday
how
you
it
were going
is
to be on
now."
top behaviour in the first few minutes. Chancellor.
We beat the forecasts this year and we will beat them again. By boosting trade, not blocking it. By increasing investment, not cutting it. By championing innovation, not stifling it. By backing working people, not making them poorer. Brick by brick, we've been building
There's that
our
working
economy.
people term
Building
again.
roads,
Yeah.
building
They're
homes,
trying to hark
getting
back to
spades
the
in
thing that they
ground
had
and
in the
cranes
80s,
in the
where it
sky.
was 70s and 80s, where they were
Growth
the people.
begins
They're not
with the
anymore.
spark of an entrepreneur.
What, down the mines?
Half of new jobs in
Yeah.
Britain are created
Yeah.
by scale-up
Yeah, and in the
businesses.
factories and things. That's
and
not
we want
efficient
those
anymore, is
jobs
it?
created here, not somewhere else. Our job is to
You hear
make
this
Britain the
messaging
best place
from,
in the world to start up, to
CCP
scale up and to stay.
Russia.
So
don't you?
we're
And-
widening eligibility for our enterprise incentives, so scale-ups can attract the talent and the capital that they need. Expanding the enterprise management incentive so more companies can offer tax-relieved share options. Re-engineering our enterprise investment and venture capital trust schemes so they don't just back early-stage ideas, but stay with companies as they grow. Introducing UK listings relief, a 3-year exemption from stamp duty reserve tax for companies who choose to list here in Britain. And to continue this work, I am launching a call for evidence on how our tax system can better back entrepreneurs and a targeted review with founders and investors at the heart to make the UK an even more attractive place to grow your business. We are sending a simple message to the world. If you build here, Britain will back you. And our retail investment system should do the same. The UK has some of the lowest levels of retail investment in the G7. And that is not only bad for business, who need that investment to grow, it's bad for savers too. Someone who has invested £1,000 a year in an average stocks and shares ISA every year since 1999 would be £50,000 better off today if they'd put that same money into if they'd put the same money into a cash ISA. And so from April 2027, I will reform our ISA system, keeping the full £20,000 allowance while designating 8,000 of it exclusively for investment, with over 65s retaining the full cash allowance. And thanks to our changes to financial advice and guidance, banks will be able to guide savers to better choices for their hard-earned money. Over 50% of the ISA market, including Hargreaves Lansdown, HSBC, Lloyds, Vanguard and Barclays, have signed up to launch new online hubs to help people invest here in Britain.
So that's where they're doing the drop from the 20k down to the 12 then, and masking
consistent
it
with
as
the commitments in our corporate tax
£8,000 is
roadmap,
now
I will
in
retain
their
our
world
competitive
in the ISA,
corporation
but
tax
actually only
rate,
if you let the
the
bank
lowest
maybe
in the
get
G7,
money off
and
your...
retain our generous full expensing offer for business
like it.
investments.
Yeah.
I will also
We need to go back.
introduce
We'll talk
a new
about that at the end.
40% first-year allowance so that businesses can write off more of the cost of their investment up front, while reducing main rate writing down allowances in line with fiscal constraints. Private investment is the lifeblood of economic growth. But growth needs public investment too. When faced with challenges, previous chancellors have chosen to decrease, delay, or cancel capital spending. But low investment is the cause of our productivity problem, not the solution. So my choice is not cuts, not stagnation, but to maintain the additional £120 billion of investment that I provided at the spending review. In transport, to link our towns and our cities, energy infrastructure to power our businesses, and housing, so people can live near good jobs, paying decent wages and growing businesses. That is the Labour choice. I'm grateful to the Financial Secretary to the Treasury for his work in driving our growth agenda forward. As we allocate investment for the infrastructure that is the backbone of economic growth across our country, today I will commit investment for the Lower Thames Crossing. And we're continuing to drive investment in city-region transport, in the Midlands Rail Hub and the TransPennine route upgrade, along with our commitments to the Northern Growth Corridor, including Northern Powerhouse Rail. It is this Labour government that has overhauled our planning system, and I will today provide further funding to increase planning capacity through a new skills offer, as called for by the British Chamber of Commerce and the Confederation of British Industry. It is this Labour government that has invested in nuclear power, in Sizewell C and in Culham. We are taking forward our commitment to slash electricity prices for thousands of manufacturing businesses, as Make UK and many others have called for. And today I'm pleased to welcome John Finkelton's report, an ambitious plan to cut the red tape that has tied our nuclear industry in knots for decades. And within 3 months, we will set out our plan for delivering his recommendations. We are proud of our industrial heritage, and we are determined to build the industry of the future so that we buy, make and sell more here in Britain. That's why, as we increase defence spending, we are investing in Portsmouth, in Barrow and in Plymouth. And I'm pleased to be supporting Team Derby, an initiative to drive growth in one of our defence industry hubs. It's why we stepped in to save British Steel in Scunthorpe and invested in Sheffield Forgemasters. And it's why we've changed government procurement, so we can buy British when it is crucial to our national security.
That's what Captain was talking about,
for shipbuilding, and today for AI, driving innovation and building that great industry here in Britain. But it's not just what we invest that matters, it's how we invest. Putting money and power back in the hands of local and regional leaders. Today, we are devolving £13 billion of flexible funding for 7 mayors to invest in skills, business support and infrastructure.
7? Only 7?
I'm extending the business rates retention pilots in the West of England, Liverpool City region and Cornwall until 2029. I'm providing £30 million for the Kernow Industrial Growth Fund for sectors like critical minerals and marine innovation. I am establishing the Leeds City Fund, a long-term agreement to retain business rates to fund local regeneration projects like the development of Leeds South Bank, and I am allocating £20 million for the new Peterborough Sports Quarter and £16 million for a science centre in Darlington from the Growth Mission Fund. The benefits of investment the benefits of investment and growth must be built and felt in every part of our United Kingdom. So we are providing an additional £370 million for the Northern Ireland Executive, £505 million for the Welsh Government, and £820 million for the Scottish Government over the spending review period through the Barnett formula. And I am making... Sorry, I didn't quite catch that from the SNP. Did they not? £120 million for the Scottish Government over the spending review period because Anna Sawar asked us to. And I'm making targeted investments in our industrial strategy sectors across the UK. In Northern Ireland, I am providing £17 million to support businesses and strengthen the UK internal market, and backing advanced manufacturing through the Northern Ireland Enhanced Investment Zone. Wales will be the host for 2 AI growth zones, creating more than 8,000 jobs, supported by a £10 million investment in the semiconductors critical for that industry.
We've got a
and
black
we
hole,
are
haven't we?
building the UK's first
But they
small
pulled money out.
modular nuclear reactors with Rolls-Royce at Wilfer in Anglesey.
I mean, it all
Two
sounds
Labour
great if there is a
governments
magic money
working
tree,
together
but I'm
in
just really
Wales to
concerned where they're
deliver for
pulling
the
it from.
people of Wales.
Well, tell us the good news first before
And in Scotland,
they're
I'm
like
committing over £14
moving us
million
up for
for
the
low
bad
carbon
bit.
Positive,
technologies
negative
in
sandwich.
Grangemouth.
Yeah.
£20 million to renew infrastructure at Inch Green in Inverclyde, and £20 million to redevelop Kirkcaldy Town Centre and Seafront, with construction starting next year. And that's on top of the UK's biggest ever warship export deal with the Norwegian government to build frigates in Glasgow, supporting 4,000 jobs. Investment opposed by the SNP, jobs opposed by the SNP, defence opposed by the SNP, but secured by this Labour government. A growing economy needs strong foundations of economic stability, with borrowing, inflation down and investment up. That is good for business, and it is good for working people, so they have more money in their pockets. Economic stability, safeguarded by ironclad fiscal rules, is our best defence against rising prices and the best way to improve living standards. We've all seen the alternative. 3 years ago, in their clamour to cut taxes for the richest, the Tories under Liz Truss crashed the economy and sent mortgage rates spiralling and brought pensions to the brink. They've been so loud, Madam Deputy Speaker, and yet I can't even hear them now. Now, I know that the leader of the Green Party is a keen hypnotherapist, and he believes that he can achieve remarkable things using only the power of his mind. Unfortunately, the only things getting bigger under his approach would be the deficit and the rate of inflation. And for all the damage that the Conservative cuts
was that
did
even
to our
necessary?
schools and our
Yeah,
hospitals,
it was like
they
a
also
comedy show
doubled
now, hasn't
the
it?
national debt.
And she's had to read
Our next financial debt
roasting
this year will
notes.
be £2.6 trillion, 83% of GDP.
This is the woman that lied on her
meaning
TV.
that today, one in every £10 that
and went into
government
government
spends
position.
is on
and
debt
thought
interest.
She'll never get called out. On
Not on paying down that
not
debt,
right.
No, she's
but
on
just
Polly the
on
Shop
paying
list.
the interest on the debt that we inherited from the Conservatives. My fiscal rules will get borrowing down while supporting investment. The stability rule, that day-to-day expenditure must be met through tax receipts. And the investment rule, which allows me to increase investment whilst getting debt on a downward path. Those fiscal rules are non-negotiable. I met them at the budget last year, I met them in the spring, and I have met them today. While the current budget balance is in deficit by £28.8 billion in 26-27
Definitely,
and
Captain.
£4.6 billion in 27-28, it moves into a surplus of £3.9 billion
You, Rob and Il
in
Corvo are on it
28-29,
today.
£21.7 billion in 29-30 and £24.6 billion in 2030-31. More than doubling our headroom against the stability rule and meeting that rule a year early too. And our net financial debt is 83.3% in 26-27, 83.6% in 27-28, 83.7% in 28-29, falling to 83.0% in 29-30 and 82.2% in 2030-31. Madam Deputy Speaker, I said we would cut the debt, and we are.
Not sure they'll
With
be in
debt down
government
by
in
the end of the
2031.
forecast. And going forward,
It's going to be a serious
to
problem if
support
they
our
are.
commitment to a single fiscal event and further
Unless they can bring
strengthen
enough
our
people in
economic
to vote for
stability, I will follow the
that's
recommendations
scary,
of the International Monetary Fund by assessing the fiscal rules just once a year at the budget. Despite the challenges we face on productivity, the path of our deficit reduction remains broadly the same as in spring. Public sector net borrowing is due to be £112.1 billion, or 3.5% of GDP in 26-27, 3% in 27-28, 2.6% in 28-29, 1.9% in 29-30, and 1.9% in 2030-31, ending at £67.2 billion, translating into an increase in the net cash requirement next year of £4.2 billion, taking the total to £133.3 billion. According to the IMF, we are due to reduce borrowing more over the rest of this Parliament than any other G7 economy.
Doesn't mean it unless you're going to do it.
The Conservatives crashed the economy, we are protecting it. The Conservatives lost control of debt, we are getting debt down. The Conservatives let inflation and interest rates go through the roof. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, since Labour took office, the Bank of England have cut interest rates 5 times.
Hold on, what are the world markets
I've made
doing
my choices.
looking at
not
this?
Reckless borrowing, not dangerous cuts, but stability for our economy, security for our public finances, and security for family finances too. Those are the Labour choices. Madam Deputy Speaker, Tory austerity left classrooms crumbling and waiting lists sky high, weakened our productivity and choked our economic growth. And now they propose a further £47 billion of cuts to our public services. Well, that is equivalent to cutting every police officer in our country twice over. And then there is Reform, who promise more than £100 billion of cuts, with no details of where those cuts will come from or who will pay for them. A recipe for devastating damage to our public services. People voted for Labour because they wanted roads that aren't full of potholes. They want police on our streets, and when they want an NHS
State of our roads round
here.
I know, right?
They don't come and check Yorkshire very often, do they?
Waiting list down by
Or Lancashire.
230,000. And not just the 2 million additional appointments we promised, but an additional 5.2 million appointments already delivered.
What's the thing about appointments? We never talk about operations
I joined the Labour Party almost 30 years
doing
ago
of the thing. It's
because I could see that the Conservative government that I grew up under
mad.
didn't care much about schools like mine. Textbooks were rationed. I know that many of you weren't at schools like mine.
There is far too much noise, far too much excitement. People need to calm down a little. Chancellor.
They don't want to hear what the Tories did to schools like mine, but I will tell them.
Yeah, true one.
Textbooks rationed, libraries closed, kids herded into porta cabins in the playground, and I came into politics to change that. The money that I allocated at the spending review will fix the crumbling classrooms that the Conservatives left behind and build the schools that they promised but never delivered. And today, thanks to representations from my honourable friends, the members for Wolverhampton North East and Leeds South West and Morley, I will provide £5 million for libraries in secondary schools, building on the £10 million commitment to ensure that every primary school has a school library within this Parliament. And thanks to representations from my honourable friends, the members for Bournemouth East and from Luton North, I am providing £18 million to improve and upgrade playgrounds across England. Madam Deputy Speaker, let there be no doubt that this is a government that is on the side of our kids and who will back their potential.
Kids again.
Very predictable, isn't it?
I will not allow the legacies of Conservative neglect to stain our society.
In the playgrounds, probably.
Last year, I made changes to the Mine Workers Pension Scheme to ensure that its members receive the fair pensions that they are owed. This year, with thanks to the Minister for Pensions for all his work in this subject, I can go further. I have heard representations from Labour Coalfield MPs, including my honourable friends, the members for Bassetlaw, Blythe and Ashington, Barnsley South, Mansfield and Llanelli. And today I can announce that I will transfer the Investment Reserve Fund of the British Coal Staff Superannuation Scheme to its members. So that the men and the women who worked in our coal industry get a fair deal in their retirement too. And more. Having heard representations from my honourable friends, the members for Banbury and the member for Edinburgh South West, I will index for inflation on pensions accrued before 1997 in the Pension Protection Fund and the Financial Assurance Scheme, so that people whose pension schemes became insolvent, no fault of their own, no longer lose out as the result of inflation. Last year, I also provided funding to compensate the victims of the infected blood scandal, after the previous government failed to budget for the costs of compensation. This year, I have listened to representations from my honourable friend, the member for Eltham and Chislehurst, and my honourable friend, the member for Edinburgh South West. And I'd like to thank the Minister for Employment for her representations over many years on this subject. As a result, I will exempt all payments from the infected blood scheme from inheritance tax, regardless of the circumstances in which those payments are passed down. Madam Deputy Speaker, that is how we should be spending taxpayers' money, on dealing with injustices and building strong public services, not on waste and inefficiency. At the spending review, I set an ambitious target of £14 billion of efficiencies per year by 2029, and I am grateful to the Chief Secretary to the Treasury for driving that work forward, realising savings through AI and automation, and by scrapping NHS England and reducing back-office staff by 18,000. At this budget, I will find a further £4.9 billion of efficiencies by 2031, getting rid of police and crime commissioners, cutting the cost of politics and local government, and selling government assets that we no longer have any use for. These savings will be required across government, but for our National Health Service, I will reinvest all of these savings back into the care that people rely on. More nurses, more GPs, more appointments.
I hear that right. Get rid of police commissioners.
Under years of Conservative decline, and investing in the future of our National Health Service.
Interesting.
And today I am announcing £300 million of investment in technology to improve patient service, and 250 new neighbourhood health centres. Expanding more services into communities so that people can receive treatment outside of hospitals and get better, faster care where they live. Over 100 of these will be delivered by 2030, including in Birmingham, Truro and Southall. The Labour Party founded our National Health Service, and we will renew our National Health Service. I will take the same approach for defence spending that I take to NHS spending, reinvesting savings back into our national security. In our age of insecurity, Britain will continue to stand with our allies, working in collaboration to secure a sustainable ceasefire for Ukraine, and maintaining our commitment to NATO, with the UK set to spend 2.6% of GDP on defence by April 2027. Madam Deputy Speaker, the public rightly expects that we stamp out fraud, error and waste, and put that money to good use in our schools and our hospitals and other frontline services. My right honourable friend, the Home Secretary, has already announced that she will claw back excess profits from the use of hotels to house asylum seekers, as we phase out the use of those hotels entirely. And we will consult on reforms to indefinite leave to remain and access to taxpayer-funded benefits. The introduction of digital ID will break the link between illegal migration and illegal working. And the HMRC and the Fair Work Agency will crack down on illicit businesses that blight our high streets and undercut illegitimate firms, enforcing the minimum wage, investigating dodgy businesses and increasing scrutiny of the
Jack,
gig
what do you
economy,
think of
as
digital
well as
ID?
tracking down fraudulent business owners who vanish without paying their taxes. And I'd like to thank
I
my
think
honourable
digital
friends,
ID's
the members for
terrifying.
Great Grimsby and Cleethorpes,
Me too.
Lee and Atherton,
Yeah.
and Kensington and Bayswater for their representations on this subject.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I'll
That.
take further steps to prevent and
Not
track
gonna
down
stop anyone
unpaid
still
tax,
coming in, is it?
which will together, these reforms will
Because they
raise
come in,
nearly £10 billion
have a
pounds
weekend
year
in a
by
hotel, go
2030,
home, and they come back the next week.
including through new powers for
Like they come here
HMRC
for a holiday.
to pursue the promoters of tax avoidance
Well, we've
schemes.
got NI numbers, so why
I
do
am
we...
building on
Yeah.
our successful
Exactly.
use of
Solve that
targeted
problem
checks
anyway,
on
so I
welfare
don't
claims
understand what
to
the
root out
digital
fraud
ID
and error and prevent public money
It's a
being
mask
paid to
for something
people who are
else,
not
isn't it?
entitled to it.
Yeah, if you haven't got an NI
And I
number,
would like
you're
to
not paying
thank
your
Tom
NI, you can't be
Hayhoe,
doing your
the
taxes.
COVID
properly.
Corruption
No.
Commissioner, for
Digital
his
ID is
work
no different.
in helping to chase down nearly £400 million from dodgy pandemic spending and contracts.
Always told her. Yeah.
Tory contracts handed out
I bet if you
by
hung out with
Tory
Captain, he's
ministers
not even like
to
that at all.
Tory peers and Tory friends.
We use the word until it has no value.
That money belongs in our schools and in our hospitals. And
Order. It is so noisy now. We can barely hear the Chancellor. Everybody needs to calm down. Chancellor.
well, I wouldn't want any honourable member to miss this. So we are chasing down that money, and we've got almost £400 million back from dodgy pandemic spending and contracts. Tory contracts handed out by Tory ministers to Tory peers and Tory donors. Well, that money belongs in our schools and in our hospitals, and we are getting that money back.
Right, and do you think Labour will be doing anything
And
different?
finally, Madam
No.
Deputy Speaker, we are ramping up sanctions on Russia, and we are freezing known Russian assets. But let me be clear, I don't actually mean the honourable member for Clacton.
What is that about?
Honestly, it's just
Under the Conservatives,
Order. We don't need commentary from the backbenches, and Mr. Dewhurst.
What
you
about
are
George Galloway
so
that's
loud.
sat in
From what
Labour
how
for
far your
all
voice
that
carries.
time that is a Russian
Chancellor.
shield now?
under the Conservatives, the cost of our welfare system increased by nearly 1 percentage point of GDP, equivalent to £88 billion in just 5 years. The broken welfare system
just
that
gonna
we
nip and get a cup of
inherited
tea.
wrote off
John, we'll be
millions
back
of
in a
Yeah,
people
no
as
worries.
too sick to
I'm
work.
gasping.
sounds like a
And we will
really good
reform that
idea,
system.
that, Ben.
I'm gasping. I'm
So
not.
that
I've
it is a
one,
system
I normally
that
have
does
one
not
every
have
hour
the
or so,
cost
but
of
I'm
failure,
spitting feathers
but
here.
one that protects people who
in a
cannot
sec.
work
All right,
and
mate.
empowers those who can. We have brought back face-to-face assessments for disability benefits. Those are the face-to-face assessments that the Shadow Chancellor got rid of when he was Work and Pension Secretary. And our changes to universal credit will get 15,000 people back into work, a figure confirmed today. The former Health Secretary, Alan Milburn, will review the causes of rising youth inactivity, and we are already taking action. I'm grateful to the Federation of Small Businesses and Small Business Britain for their representations on apprenticeships. And today I am announcing funding to make the training for under 25 apprenticeships completely free for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Wow. How are they going to pay for that?
And
I was gonna
funding
say.
our new youth guarantee, providing £820 million over the next 3 years to give young people who are let down by the Conservatives the support and the opportunity that they deserve. Guaranteeing every young person a place in college, an apprenticeship or personalised job support. And after 18 months, 18 to 21-year-olds will be offered paid work, not benefits.
Well, they need to pay taxes quick,
The
don't they?
Motability
Yeah.
Scheme was set up to protect the most vulnerable, not to subsidise the lease on a Mercedes-Benz. And so I am making reforms that will reduce generous taxpayer subsidies, and Motability have confirmed that they will remove luxury vehicles from their scheme, getting the scheme back to its original purpose of offering
That's
cost-effective
already been
leases
leaked.
to disabled people. And taxpayers' money should not be spent on pensions for people abroad, who only lived here for a couple of years and may never even have paid a penny in tax. The Conservatives allowed thousands of people living abroad to buy their way into the state pension for as little as £3.50 a week, debasing the purpose of our pension system. And so I will abolish access to Class 2 voluntary national insurance contributions for people living abroad, increasing the time that someone has to live or work in Britain to 10 years and increasing the contributions that they must pay. These reforms improve our welfare system. They support our young people, protect those who need it most, and put an end to Conservative waste and unfairness.
It makes the rest of us want to move abroad and live somewhere
Madam
else.
Deputy Speaker,
Yeah.
to break the cycle of austerity, we need a fair and a sustainable tax system, one that generates revenues to fund the public services that we all use,
Here we go.
and
Here we
supports
go.
investment to grow our
New
economy.
page.
That does mean that today I am asking everyone to make a contribution.
Here we go.
The previous Conservative government froze personal tax thresholds from 2021 to 2028. And today I will maintain all income tax and equivalent national insurance thresholds at their current level for a further 3 years from 2028. While ensuring that people...
Order! The noise is far too high. Chancellor.
The Right Honourable Lady supported these freezes when her party made them. She might want to forget about it, but the British people never will. At the same time, we are ensuring that people only in receipt of the basic or new state pension do not have to pay small amounts of tax through simple assessment from April 2027. I will also keep the Plan 2 student loan repayments threshold at its 2026-27 level for 3 years. Madam Deputy Speaker, I know that maintaining these thresholds is a decision that will affect working people. I said that last year, and I won't pretend otherwise now. Madam Deputy Speaker, I am asking everyone to make a contribution, but I can keep that contribution as low as possible because I will make further reforms to our tax system today to make it fairer and to ensure that the wealthiest contribute the most.
We keep taxing
The
the rich.
Conservatives knew that our tax system didn't work.
Here we go.
Time and time again, they ducked the necessary reforms, leaving a system unfit for a changing economy, with unfairness that they refused to address. Currently, a landlord with an income of £25,000 will pay nearly £1,200 less in tax than their tenants with the same salary, because no national insurance is charged on property, dividend or savings income. It's not fair that the tax system treats different types of income so differently.
It doesn't take into account the running costs
I
of
will
the
increase
property.
the basic
No.
and higher rate
Or
of
the
tax
borrowing
on
against
property,
Borrowing,
savings
anything.
and dividend income by 2 percentage points, and the additional rate of tax on property and savings income by 2 percentage points. Even after these reforms, 90% of taxpayers will still pay no tax at all on their savings. As well as narrowing the gap between the tax on income from assets and income from work, I also believe that a fair society is one where the wealthiest pay their fair share. The reforms I made last year will raise an additional £8 billion a year by 2020-30 from wealth. I increased taxes last year on private equity, private schools and private jets. I abolished the non-dom tax regime. And this year, I will make 2 changes to cap trust charges and prevent avoidance. I reformed inheritance tax on agricultural and business assets. And this year, I am aligning those reforms with wider inheritance tax rules by allowing the transfer of the 100% relief allowance between spouses, balancing the taxation of these valuable assets with the realities of family life. In this budget,
I will take further steps to deal with a long-standing source of wealth inequality in our country. A Band D home in Darlington or Blackpool pays just under £2,400 in council tax, nearly £300 more than a £10 million mansion in Mayfair. And so, from 2028, I am introducing the high-value council tax surcharge in England, an annual £2,500 charge for properties worth more than £2 million, rising to £7,500 for properties worth more than £5 million. This will be collected alongside council tax, levied on owners, and we will consult on options for support or deferral. This new surcharge will raise over £400 million by 2031 and will be charged on less than the top 1% of properties. Madam Deputy Speaker, reliefs in our tax system cost the taxpayer billions of pounds a year, but many of them no longer serve their original purpose. The government rightly provides generous tax relief for people paying into a pension, relieving income tax on all contributions and on the investment itself, as well as national insurance relief on employer contributions, at a cost of over £70 billion a year to the Exchequer. This budget makes no changes to those reliefs or to the tax-free lump sum. But salary sacrifice for pensions, which was intended to be a small part of our pension system, is forecast to almost treble in cost to other taxpayers, from £2.8 billion in 2017 to £8 billion by 2030, with the greatest benefit going to the highest earners, or to those in the financial services sector putting their bonuses into pensions tax-free, while those on the minimum wage or those whose employers don't offer salary sacrifice don't benefit at all. That is not sustainable for our public finances, putting pressure on the tax that everyone else pays. And so I am introducing a £2,000 cap on salary sacrifice into a pension, with contributions above that taxed in the same way as other employee pension contributions. That is a pragmatic step so that people, especially on low and middle incomes, can continue to use salary sacrifice for their pension without paying any more in tax than they do now, and to give individuals and employers time to adjust to these new arrangements. These changes will come into effect in 2029. The coalition government introduced 100% relief from capital gains tax on business sales made to employee ownership trusts, creating a route for gains to go completely untaxed when businesses are sold.
Ben
will
looks
reduce
like
that relief to 50%, retaining a strong incentive for employee-owned companies. And as we work towards doubling the size of the cooperative economy, the Department for Business and Trade will launch a call for evidence on how we can better support co-ops to grow. Because of the changes that I have made to capital gains tax this year and last year, receipts are forecast to increase from
I'm going to have to get some bullet points from a
£30
website to tell me what's going on. I've lost the will to live
our
now.
high streets, I am announcing a package of regulatory changes as called for by UK Hospitality and the British Retail Consortium. And I will support the Great British Pub through our new national licensing framework, encouraging councils to back our pubs and to back late-night venues with greater freedoms.
Oh gosh, can't go down with the demographic of people on
For business rates, I will introduce permanently lower tax rates for over 750,000 retail, hospitality and leisure properties.
Giving the late licences away more freely and not being worried about house
paid for through higher rates on properties worth more than £500,000, like the warehouses used by online giants.
Post-COVID, there's no nightclubs left, is there?
I will introduce a package of support worth over £4.3 billion over the next 3 years for a property of any size seeing a large increase in their bill. And to support a level playing field in retail, I will stop online firms from undercutting our high street businesses by ensuring customs duty applies on parcels of any value.
I will reform our motoring taxes, exempting search and rescue vehicles from vehicle excise duty as called for by my honourable friends, the member for the Western Isles and for Whitehaven and Workington. And because all cars contribute to the wear and tear on our roads,
Here we go.
I will ensure that drivers are taxed according to how much they drive and not just by the type of car they own, by introducing the electric vehicle excise duty on electric cars. This will be payable each year alongside vehicle excise duty at 3p per mile for electric cars and 1.5p for plug-in hybrids, helping us to double road maintenance funding in England over the course of this Parliament.
Normal hybrids get away with that.
And alongside this,
Is that
I am
3p a
providing
mile for
support
pure
to
electric,
boost
was
our
it?
British car
Yeah, I
industry.
think so.
Increasing the threshold for the expensive car supplement on electric vehicles to £50,000, saving over 1 million motorists £440 a year. Providing £1.3 billion additional funding for the electric car grant, extending it to 2030 and taking total funding to £2 billion, as well as delaying changes to the employee car ownership scheme. In addition, we're investing a further £200 million to accelerate the rollout of EV charging, as well as 100% business rates relief for EV charge points for the next decade, with thanks to my honourable friend, the member for Camborne and Redruth, for his representations on this policy.
So you're
And I will improve competition in our
and then
taxi
200
industry
million.
grant.
by ending
Yeah.
ride-hailing companies' use of a discount scheme intended for coach tours, as called for by Steve McNamara, the General Secretary of the Licensed Taxi Drivers Association. Legislating to restrict access so that everyone pays fairly and protecting £700 million of tax revenue each year. I am responding to our consultation on landfill tax, and listening to representations, particularly from our house building industry. I will not converge towards a single rate, but I will prevent the gap between the two rates from widening to balance the need to address tax avoidance in the current structure. I will today publish Ray McCann's report into the loan charge along with the government's response, setting out a new settlement opportunity that will finally allow people to finalise their position and draw a line under this long-standing issue. And I'd like to thank my honourable friend, the member for Milton Keynes Central, for her representations on this subject.
I feel your pain,
I
Daniel.
will continue with the planned uprating for tobacco duties that I set out last year and uprate alcohol duties by inflation, along with our plans to introduce a vaping products duty in 2026 and changes to the soft drinks industry levy announced by my right honourable friend, the Health Secretary, yesterday. And I'd like to thank the Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury for his work on all the tax measures in this budget. I will also reform gambling taxes in response to the rise in online gambling. Remote gaming is associated with the highest levels of harm. And so I am increasing remote gaming duty from 21% to 40%.
Wow.
With duty on online betting increasing from 15% to 25%. I am making no change to the taxes on in-person gambling or on horse racing.
Wow.
And I am abolishing bingo duty entirely from April next year.
What the heck is bingo
Taken
duty?
together, my reforms to gambling tax
The old ladies.
will raise over £1 billion per year by 2031. As a result of the tax reforms I have made today, I can confirm that I will not be increasing national insurance, the basic, higher or additional rates of income tax or VAT. And I have kept everyone's contribution as low as possible through reforms to make our tax system stronger, closing loopholes, ensuring that the wealthiest pay their share, and building a tax system that is fairer for the future as our economy changes. On the day I became Chancellor, I said that I would judge my time in office a success if I knew that ordinary children from working-class backgrounds were living more fulfilling lives. Their horizons expanded, their potential realised. I joined the Labour Party, I came into politics because I believe that every child has equal worth and deserves an equal chance to achieve their promise. The biggest barrier to equal opportunity is child poverty. Because for every child that grows up in poverty, our society pays a triple cost. The first and the heaviest is to the child. Going to school hungry, waking up in a cold home, or in another B&B. While other children enjoy the advantages of parents with time to help with homework, the quiet space at home to work in, too many go without. And there is also the cost of supporting a family in poverty, which ends up in the lap of overstretched councils, who can do no more than shunt them into temporary accommodation at huge cost to local taxpayers. Then there is the future cost, to our economy and to our society, of wasted talent and a welfare system that bears the cost of failure for decades to come. Young people with so much to contribute, but whose potential is suffocated early by limited life chances and missed opportunities, struggling to make their way in a society that did not look out for them. I don't intend to preside over a status quo that punishes children for the circumstances of their birth and demands that we all pay 3 times over for it. Since last July, we've rolled out free breakfast clubs in schools. We're expanding free school meals to 500,000 more kids, lifting 100,000 children out of poverty as we do it. We've passed the Renters' Rights Act and we've extended the childcare offer. And I'm proud of all of that. But it's not enough. Because there is one policy that pushes kids into poverty more than any other. It was introduced by the party opposite. They said it would save money and that it would bring about behavioural change, disincentivising poorer families from having more children. Well, even on its own terms, it failed. The welfare bill has continued to rise, and there's been no difference in the size of families. But what it has done is to push hundreds of thousands of children into poverty since it was introduced. They said they were punishing parents' choices, but it's the kids who have paid the price. They've paid the price for the policies of a party which opted for cynical gimmicks over real savings in our welfare system.
Where would you go there? Poland.
I understand that many families are finding times hard and that many kids have had to make difficult choices when it comes to having kids. And there are many reasons why people choose to have children and then find themselves in difficult times. The death of a partner, separation, ill health, a lost job. I don't believe that children should have to bear the brunt of that. And neither can I, in good conscience, leave in place the vile policy known as the rape clause, requiring women to prove if their child has been conceived non-consensually to receive support. I'm proud to be Britain's first female Chancellor of the Exchequer. I take the responsibilities that come with that seriously. I will not tolerate the grotesque indignity of women of the rape clause any longer. It is dehumanising, it is cruel, and I will remove it from the statute book. And so because I am tackling fraud and error in our welfare system, because I am cracking down on tax avoidance, because I am reforming gambling taxation, I can announce today, fully costed and fully funded, the removal of the 2-child limit in full from April.
Oh dear.
This side of the house. It's amazing what people get so angry about, and we've seen their true colours today. The thing they get angry about is lifting children out of poverty.
Order.
Can't argue with children. There'll be something sinister behind that, I guarantee.
I think constituents have heard all they need to from the party opposites today. We on this side of the House do not believe that the solution to a broken welfare system is to punish the most vulnerable. We are lifting 450,000 children out of poverty with the end of the two-child limit. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, combined with other actions we are taking, this Labour government is achieving the biggest reduction in child poverty over a parliament since records began.
What about the accountability of where said parents spend the money? That's the problem, not the poverty of the child.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I know how worried
it's a real
families
issue. It should
are
be done in
about the cost
clothes
of
banks and
everything.
food banks, not in cash.
Worried that their money won't stretch to the end of the month. Worried that price...
It's true.
I think if you've got a house that's worth £5 million a year, you can probably afford it. But you get more exercise about reducing child poverty than you do about the richest paying more. Under this government, wages have risen by more since we were elected than in 10 years under the last government.
And that's why so many small businesses have now died.
Already saving families £1,200 a year off a typical new mortgage, compared to that to when Liz Truss was Prime Minister. But I know that people still face pressure on their budgets day to day and week to week. And where there is more to do, where we can provide relief, we are doing it. Extending the bus fare cap, cracking down on rip-off price hikes, freezing prescription charges and freezing rail fares for the first time in 30 years. I am increasing the basic and new state pension by 4.8%, an increase of £440 per year for the basic state pension, and an increase of £575 per year for the new state pension, in line with our commitment to the triple lock. At the election, we promised a genuine living wage, and we are delivering it. At the budget last year, I increased the national minimum wage and the national living wage, and I am doing the same this year too. Accepting the recommendations of the Low Pay Commission in full.
You've seen Keir Starmer try and do
the
boxing.
minimum wage for 18 to 20-year-olds from £10 to £10.85 an hour. And increasing the living wage from £12.21 to £12.71 an hour.
True.
Under current plans, the temporary 5p cut to fuel duty that was introduced during the pandemic will come to an end in April, and fuel duty will be uprated in line with inflation.
Oh, no.
But I know that the cost of travelling to and from work is still too expensive. And so I am extending the 5p cut until September 2026. And because I know that changes in wholesale prices are not always passed on to motorists, I am bringing in new rules to mandate petrol forecourts to share real-time price rises through a new fuel finder, empowering drivers to find the cheapest fuel, calling out rip-offs and strengthening
What about the
competition,
motorways like
saving the
Moto,
average household £40
who are
a year.
all owned by
Madam
university
Deputy Speaker, one of the greatest drivers
Really?
of the rising cost of living is the cost of energy prices.
But you won't tell them.
The cause of high energy bills must be tackled at source. And so we are investing in energy security, in nuclear and renewable energy, and in insulation through our Warm Homes Plan. But that's not enough when people are struggling with energy bills today. The Conservatives' Eco Scheme was presented as a plan to tackle fuel poverty. It costs households £1.7 billion a year on their bills. And for 97% of families in fuel poverty, the scheme, get this, has cost them more than it's saved. It is a failed scheme, and so I am scrapping it, along with taking other legacy costs off bills. And as a result, I can tell you today that for every family, we are keeping our promise to get energy bills down and cut the cost of living. With £150 cut from the average household bill from April next year.
What, a year?
Money off bills and in the pockets of working people. That is my choice. not to neglect Britain's energy security like the Tories did, not to leave working families to bear the brunt of high prices like the Tories did,
They won't
but
even
to
give me a
get
food shop in 1
energy
week.
costs down now and in the future. That is the Labour choice. And Madam Deputy Speaker, one more thing. Because of our action on bills and on prices, as a direct result of this budget, the Office for Budget Responsibility confirmed today that inflation is coming down faster and will be a full 0.4 percentage points lower next year. That's the benefit of a Labour government cutting the cost of living.
My shopping bill doesn't agree there, John.
No.
This Labour government is changing our country. In the face of challenges on our productivity, I will grow our economy through stability, investment and reform. I've met my fiscal rules and built our economic resilience for the future. I have asked everyone to contribute, yes, for the security of our country and the brightness of its future. But I have kept that contribution as low as possible by reforming our tax system, making it fairer and stronger for the future. I have protected our NHS, maintaining public investment and driving efficiency in government spending. I've taken action on our broken welfare system, rooting out waste and lifting children out of poverty. And I have cut the cost of living, with money off bills and prices frozen, all while keeping every single one of our manifesto commitments. Those are my choices.
Order. Mr. Rankin, Miss Morton, your voice carries right across the chamber. Right across the chamber. Try and take a breath every so often. Chancellor.
Those are my choices. Not austerity, not reckless borrowing, but cutting the debt, cutting waiting lists and cutting the cost of living. Those are Labour choices, promised and delivered by this budget, promised and delivered by this Labour government. And Madam Deputy Speaker, I commend this statement to the House.
There you go.
And that's it.
And that's it. We're done.
Got brainy.
No, so now what they do is like an hour of moaning, blaming each other,
Right.
kicking off. You can't do this, you did that.
Oh my goodness.
So, key points in that. Let's have a look. I was watching the pound to see where it was going during that speech. And it actually, according to this, it went up.
Okay.
And then it went down.
Oh dear.
So it went up by 0.0041, and that peaked at what time was that? That was around 1:30. Oh, sorry, 1:25.
Yeah.
PM, and then now it's gone down to what are we at now? 1.3119, so it's on its way back down, and that was at like literally at the end of the budget.
Is that against the dollar or euro?
That's just it. Just says, pound sterling to the United States dollar.
All right.
So we were up 0.36, and then we went back down, and we're kind of bouncing around at the moment. So it was taken fairly well, but I guess in the next hour or so we'll know a bit more.
Yeah.
Insane, isn't it? So your electric car
is
going to cost you, if you do 10,000 miles a year, that's like an extra 300 quid on top of whatever tax is already there.
I don't know how they're going to enforce it. You think it was what we were talking about before? Your car's spying on you, so BMW, in our case, will report to the government that, he's driven 3,000 miles this year or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be scary if they're doing that.
I think you'll get pop-up shops appearing. Disconnect your car from the cloud. It's 100 quid.
Yeah, and it'll be funded by the AI technology hubs that they're going to put in.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what we need to get into next, guys.
Flipping it, man.
I'm gonna buy a mobile jammer and just stick it in my boot all the time I'm driving my car, and everyone in the area will get blocked, including my car.
Love that.
It's crazy. So now, right? If you get, let's say a Porsche, what's it called, the Taycan, the electric Taycan, that a lot of business owners like,
even though it says turbo on the back still.
Yeah. So that will cost you, is it £700 in tax for the luxury car? What is it? I think, let me just double check. I'm sure it's something like.
Haven't some cars gone to like $3,000 a year or something stupid tax?
Have they?
Yeah, old stuff like Subaru Imprezas and things like that are just, they're trying to tax us out of old cars.
Wow.
Luxury car, 474 quid, I think, luxury car taxes.
What would they're classing it as anything over 40k new, aren't they?
Yeah.
So everything. I think even if it's over 40k now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're raising it to 50k.
Right.
This charge is levied on motorists for 5 years once a vehicle is first registered. It will total 2,370 quid.
What happens after 5 years? It just goes to normal road tax then?
No, it'll just be, they'll keep it on there. They never put it back down again, do they?
No.
So you get, so if you've got an expensive car, you pay 474 quid of tax extra. And then you pay, so it's gone up by, it was 425.
So it's gone up by another 50.
Yeah, they say now that's over cars over 50 grand. That's probably because they want to help the Chinese manufacturers that they've done deals with.
I was just thinking that, because they're all under the 50 grand bracket, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So
they
AQs and BYD and whatever else there are.
That's it. So 474. Then you've got to pay. Let's say you do 10,000 miles a year. That's another 300 quid.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're already at. And then you've got the normal tax, whatever that is for that vehicle. So I don't actually know what a Taycan standard tax is. It'll probably be like, 35 quid or something ridiculously cheap because it's an EV.
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it?
You'd think so. So you're paying 4, 5, 6, 7, £800 a year in tax on that new car.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
When we got our EV, it was 0 tax because it's obviously electric, and then we'd had the car, and then we got this thing came out about what you're talking about. Oh yeah, now we're adding on all this extra stuff, and then we're going to be ending up paying almost normal tax rates on EVs like you are with petrol and diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say one thing to get everyone to buy it, and then they go, actually, you know what we said last year? Well, we've changed our mind.
Yeah, move the goalposts.
Yeah.
And the worst bit is, so then they're doing that. And then in the next breath, she said, yeah, we're going to give grants out for buying new electric cars.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give grants. We're going to invest in charge points.
Yeah, heavily invest as well. Somewhere I jotted down the number of that, but it was a lot.
It was mad money, wasn't it?
Million, I think.
Yeah, it was at 200 million or something.
I think so, yeah.
But why would you?
Yeah, 200 million for EV chargers.
But then, why would you kill the reason to have the EV?
Yeah.
Because
and then invest in the market that you're actively trying to shoot. It makes no sense.
Because they're not killing it. They're doing exactly like you've said. They're killing off the Porsche level or the BMW level, but they're not killing off the ones that they want you to buy, which are the Chinese ones.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, that seems to be where the logic of it is. Plus, I don't think they really understand. They just don't seem to understand the normal sense of business, like money in, money out, encouraged to buy. Don't do all of this. But I felt like some of it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
I feel like a soft drinks duty is a good thing. That was something that I circled a couple of times on my page, but maybe that's because I'm not into the caffeinated soft drinks beverages and Coca-Cola and all of that.
But isn't the soft that's
We've got the sugar
tax?
Yeah, sugar tax.
But see, I agree and I don't agree with that at the same time. So I agree that we shouldn't let kids drink loads of pop, but we've been drinking loads of pop since day one.
Yeah.
So I don't think the market has changed in the amount. In fact, I know it hasn't changed. It's the same amount now as it was many, many years ago. But now they've demonized sugar in favor of man-made chemicals.
Sweeteners. Yeah.
And to me, that doesn't sound better.
Well, it's not better, is it? It's a recipe for more different cancers and disease.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then surely the sugar tax thing is a bit of a joke.
I don't know, because I think that where I went to on the soft drinks duty though was more. Have you seen those ones that aren't a Red Bull? They're some kind of like own brand. They're like 35 pence a tin, and they're literally, I don't know how much they are a tin, but like they're so cheap, aren't they? Some of them.
Yeah, that is a cheap.
What are you drinking in that? Like, what actually is that? So maybe lifting the duty might help stopping the people that buy the cheap ones buying it. Maybe.
I don't think so. They'll just buy cheaper chemicals from abroad. So when I was moving stuff for princes who make Capri Sun,
yeah,
they have these huge vats of chemicals that go into these juices. And I asked a guy who works there, who makes the stuff, I said, would you drink this? He's like, not a chance.
But the thing is that that's all just a way of them getting the taxes off the sales, isn't it?
That's it.
I feel like I've gone into this parenting mode where, I mean, my just an 8-year-old now will turn over a packet to see what's in it. And if there's something he can't pronounce, he goes, oh, we don't eat this, do we, Mummy? I think, well, no, because actually there is a responsibility there that we are fueling the nation with absolute crap and dangerous stuff.
But just don't go to America because it's even worse.
But it's just learning the good choices, though, isn't it? And like we talked first world problems yesterday, and I live in a very fortunate position where we do have a couple of chickens in the garden and a veg patch, and my kids drink water because I've started reading the back of all the soft drinks. And you think, like, the information's there and it's public choice of what you put in your body, but then it's state responsibility when you need all the healthcare.
Yeah, there is that. But then they always seem to be late to the party and stuff. I mean, I think European food in general is a lot better quality than American.
Massively.
And like
Definitely,
when you see what it's like in India and all these other places.
Well, don't we bleach the chicken in America?
Chlorinate it, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff that is not ideal, and we are, in general, a lot better. But we still have a way to go. But it's also, I think they're saying that the taxpayer has to pick up the bill, and like with smoking and alcohol, it's quite obvious that there is a direct link. I think with fizzy drinks, it's a bit more tenuous to say that people are going to hospital because of fizzy drinks. Because if you actually saw what they put in them, the amount and how fizzy drinks work, they put the minimal amount of additives per can in, because the more water they can put in, the cheaper it is to make.
Yeah.
So there isn't all that much in there compared to like a beer or vodka or, which has lots of alcohol in it. So I just feel like it's just a stealth tax. It's something that we use a lot. If we can get people, I mean, you could argue that, fizzy drinks are really bad for your teeth. They will literally melt them, right? Why is that money from that not going to help sort out dentists and NHS dentists? That, in theory, that's what I
that would make sense. But that's the same as then when they put the VAT on private school fees, so 20% on top, and it was meant to take the pressure off the state school system, and they haven't used that money to fund the state school system at all. So where the hell's the money gone?
Well, yeah. It just
Because I tell you what, it's cost me. And I was thinking, oh, it's the greater good thing. It's not. Like, I had to move my son out of state school because it wasn't a good fit for him. He was already getting in trouble in a very short space of time, and he's a really good boy. So we've had to make family cutbacks elsewhere to be able to do that. Then they chuck 20% on to try and make said schools better, and they've not done it. So again, it's just another one of these taxes of maybe it's because it's seen as a rich tax, but actually it's not. It's a parenting tax because it's trying to make the best choice for your children.
Well, they want everybody. I've done both. I've done private school and I've done state school, and there is a distinct difference in both.
Yeah.
In a state school, it's all about fitting in, not fighting back, not like push. You can do well if you want to do well, but you don't have to do well. You know, it's all about. You know, it's like Mickey Flanagan jokes about like one of his mates wanting to be a van driver, and they were like, "Whoa, no, you can be the lad that loads the van. You're not being a van driver." And it's like that. For me, I think that's what state schools like, and they really focus a lot on the narrative of whatever the government wants to carry at the time, whether it be DEI, inclusivity, LGBTQ,
that's
whatever.
The minute.
Yeah, whatever faith is the flavour of the moment. And then in private school, it's the opposite. In the private school, it's very much like, no, these are the principles that we work off. This is what you stick to. Why have you got 8 out of 10 when you should have got 10 out of 10? And they push you to go for it and to stand up for yourself. So and where do you see the majority of this lot sat in there? They're all from private schools, most of them.
Yeah.
And you know, that's unfortunate, but that's what the establishment are. So that they know that the people at the very top can still afford it, but they want the generation to be in the state school so that they can affect them into believing whatever they want to believe.
Yeah.
It's just total madness at the moment.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. It's total like I mean, I listen to what my kids say, and I just think, I'm like, they're like, it doesn't sound right, and I said, no. Well, if it doesn't sound right, it's probably not right.
Yeah, and that's
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you've got common sense around your table. That's the difference.
Well, they had National Men's Day the other day, and they were saying that if you were a trans man, that you're a stronger person than a straight white man. That's what they said.
What?
Yeah, that's what they told them. Yeah, on National Men's Day.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did, and I was like, well, how do you quantify that? I mean, it's an outrageous statement to say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you telling my kids? It's just total stupidness. Anyway, we digress. So basically, there was a lot of blaming going on at the beginning. She laid into the Green Party for no apparent reason. I don't really understand
why, though. Was that just like having like a schoolyard kick?
I don't know, because the Green Party have always been like Labour's allies in many ways. So I don't know what that is. She kept going on about this £22 billion black hole.
Yeah.
Which there's never been any evidence given for that, but she says it's there.
Yeah.
She said the 1 point. I said they'll say that there's growth.
Yes, and they did.
1.5% from 1.
Yeah.
So in this country, one of the tricks is, so they can't do quantitative easing by putting loads of money into the economy directly, but if they bring people into the country and then put the money through them, then they can grow the economy, and it's a false growth. We've been doing it forever. It's not this government; it's all the governments we've ever had. And there's nothing wrong with proper migration if it's done correctly, but when everything's buckling under the weight of everything, we need to just take a little break from that for a while. Yeah. But then on the other side, the productivity growth was down 3%.
Yeah.
So what is that exactly in relation to?
Yeah, how have they quantified that?
Yeah, what is what is that?
I don't know.
What
I
does
feel
it
a bit
mean?
like Ben. I feel like I need to get some bullet points from somebody that knows more of the economic jargon, because I think that's all it is. It's just got that much wrapping of big words and nonsense that it's really hard to actually understand what's what. I mean, the first bit all sounded good. I started almost thinking I might vote Labour until my brain kicked in and I thought, actually, where's all this? Where's it come from? That's all
Yeah, like one of the guys on the chat put an interesting comment. 1 minute before the budget, there's no money for anything. Now there's shed loads of it everywhere. I'll give you this, I'll give you that. Where the heck's all that come from?
That's
Obviously, EV taxes and all the rest of
Yeah.
it.
And I mean, the thing about the apprenticeship sounded quite good from a young person's perspective. Under 25s getting free apprenticeships, guaranteed places with colleges, apprenticeships, and work support. But so what? Does the business pick up that, or is there some free money for that?
Yeah, well, this is it. They always say about the apprentice schemes.
Yeah.
And they were always like, "Oh, we'll give you £1,000 to take on an apprentice."
Yeah.
But I mean, that's nothing. It's nothing at all. The
Not
amount by the time you're taking the work gear out of it, the stuff that they'll break because they always do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not having a go at apprentices, but
somebody to train them up to do anything.
exactly. There's so much more investment comes from the business side. I mean, she says all that, but so productivity growth in the UK means the economy is producing more goods and services for each hour of work, which is linked to higher living standards and wages. It indicates how efficiently the workforce and capital are being used to create the output. Recent growth has been weak, leading to stagnant wages, lower potential for economic growth compared to earlier periods.
Well,
so, and for that to go down 3%, that's a lot.
That is a lot. That's a lot.
So, the indication that the economy has grown by 1.5%, but then we've got 3% down would indicate that
there's some lies going on.
Yeah, there's some quantitative easing going on in a stealthy manner.
Yes.
Captain's right. Yeah, Monster does to metal. I mean, I don't drink. I don't normally drink stuff like this. They're in the fridge because of an emergency truck driving situation where I need to keep my eyes open. And that's about it.
A bit like watching the budget.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we know for next budget we do need something more caffeinated to just keep us awake. I'm jealous we had time to knit for a cup of tea. If I wasn't all the way upstairs, I'd have done the same thing.
Well, I'm in the garden. I've got to run back into the house. That's why. And then when I stood up, I realised, oh, I'm actually dying for a wee as well. You don't realise till you stand up. So.
Oh, funny. The one thing that was interesting, I think you sort of flagged it, John, as they said it, about a 13 billion amount for 7 mayors across the country. I wonder which 7 that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope it's Luke Campbell.
Why is it only 7?
Yeah.
How many are there, do you think?
I'm not sure. Should I have a quick Google?
It seems very, seems sus straight away.
Yes. The ones in the right places can have the money.
And it was done in such a way that it was very, very what's the word? Just it was just
shady.
Yeah, it was just stuck in there with other stuff.
Yeah, shoehorned in.
Yeah. So what does it say? So there's metro mayors, which are directly elected mayors who lead combined authorities, local authority mayors, Mayor of London, obviously. So how many are there?
Doesn't every city have one?
I don't know. We've only just got one. So we've just got a combined mayor for Hull and East Riding, which caused a whole debacle in itself. So that's really new for us. So I don't know if that's something that's been rolled out nationally or... As of May 25, there are 14 directly elected metro mayors in England, plus the Mayor of London, and additionally 13 local authorities with directly elected mayors. So I wonder if it's 7 of the 14.
Yeah, half of them, yeah.
Yeah. But which half is obviously...
But I know I wonder if that money is going into doing the like stuff like Khan's done with the ULEZ and stuff like that, which would need a big fat amount of money putting into it.
I still think, and like you guys will hopefully see my point of view on this, £13 billion is a hell of a lot of money. Like, what do they do with the money? Do you know what I mean? Like, some of the budget things that came up when I've been at local events, they're talking about putting investment in, and the figures that they come up with of what it's going to cost to do that, you think any other small to medium business owner would have done it for a fraction. So why is there such a budget for it? What do you need it for? And is it just jobs for the boys?
As all these figures were getting pulled out of thin air, I was actually thinking, where the hell do they get these figures from? Yeah. Like you've just said, and how do they know? Well, obviously, it's all guesswork, isn't it? We think to fix whatever this problem is, it'll cost this much billion. And, it's like, you just
think how big a spreadsheet you're going to need to get to the billions.
Oh, man, a big one.
Yeah. And that's where I just feel like there's that level of corruption somewhere. Similarly to like when it's all in-house, they go, oh, yeah, this department's going to do whatever the project is, but they've got to use these other in-house teams of this part of the government for marketing, accountancy, legals, HR. So it's just moving money from one pot along the line to another pot. It doesn't create business. It just puts the money back into the system again.
I'm just looking here, and it says AI has already done a dive into it. It says the UK government in autumn budget delivered by Rachel Reeves announced a £13 billion of flexible funding for 7 mayors to invest in skills, business support and infrastructure. That's the one that I'd worry about, which is probably ULEZ cameras. The funding is part of de-evolution agenda aimed at giving more money and power to local and regional leaders. The specific mayors and their regions benefiting from this fund will include Greater Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool City region, North East, West Midlands, South Yorkshire, and Bristol. The Chancellor also mentioned initiatives in particular for Cornwall, Peterborough, and Darlington, and the business rates retention pilots will be extended to the west of England, Liverpool City region, and Cornwall until 2029. The funding is designed to be flexible, allowing mayors to decide how best to allocate the resources based on local needs, moving away from fragmented systems of departmental grants. The goal is to drive regional growth and improve local services and infrastructure. Okay. But then it all depends on your mayor. If you've got a good mayor, great. If you've got a bad mayor, that will be jobs for the boys.
Literally that. So we need to find out who's the jobs for the boys in Greater Manchester and Leeds.
Fact.
Yeah.
What else?
South Yorkshire.
I'm just reading some at a glance, budget at key points at a glance, and there's another one for small businesses. So basic and higher income tax rates on property savings and dividend income to increase by 2%. So,
oh, really?
So people getting dividends like me, you, whoever's got a small company, we're going to be stung again.
What's that, going up 2%?
Yeah, 2 percentage points. That means percent, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. It says NI and income tax thresholds are frozen for 3 years beyond 2028. The amount under 65s can put into cash ISAs is capped at 12 grand a year, with the rest of the 20 grand annual allowance reserved for investments. Not sure what that means. And then that bit I've just said. So they're the 3 points from personal taxation.
I'm guessing on the 20 to 12, that 8 you get taxed differently on investments as well, don't you?
Right.
So
I've never even had an investment in anything, so I wouldn't know.
Sensible now, because it's not really worth having one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that's worth having, if you have a stocks and shares ISA and then you do stocks and shares on maybe the American stock market or the European one or whatever, what you can do is, let's say I put 5 grand in it. I used the platform, the ISA, to buy and sell shares, and I made, let's say, I'll pick a number out of the sky, £100,000.
Yeah.
That would be tax-free through that ISA.
Right.
You wouldn't pay any tax on it. So that's the only benefit really, of the ISAs at this point.
So are
is
they
to-
exempt then? So the growth on the ISA money is exempt from this £20,000 cap?
Yes.
Okay. Although I'm not savvy enough at stocks and shares, that would end up being a main income for me because I don't know how to do it swiftly.
No, well, I'm learning in the background, and I reckon it's going to take me 2 years to get the
Yeah,
nuts
it's a lot,
and bolts
isn't
of it fully done. But it's a bit of a joke, to be totally honest. The whole ISA thing, it's just a way of holding a bunch of our money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Yeah, that's it.
so that they can trade with it.
That 3% tax for EVs and plug-in hybrids, it looks like that's coming from 2028. So I thought it'd be more sooner than that.
Yeah, I thought it was the way she said that.
So
I wonder what. So the second-hand EV market has been plummeting, and when they spoke about the pay per mile thing, it went. People were offloading electric cars, right, left, and centre. So it'd be interesting to see what the value of those things are. Also, they said plug-in hybrids. They didn't say hybrids, which a lot of these Chinese ones. So the JEQ.
Oh yeah.
They're
My
not
mum's got a hybrid. It's got a little engine that obviously kicks in, but she can't plug it in. But it has got a battery, so
yeah. My mum and stepdad have bought one of JEQ, much to my dismay.
My mum's is a Honda Jazz, I think. Are they the small ones?
Yeah, and so they won't have any. They've dodged a bullet there as well. It's interesting. Captain Cornish is off. He says, "See you later, alligators."
See you, Captain.
See you later.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for all the comments as well.
Yeah, I've not actually eaten anything today yet, so I'm starting to get a bit peckish.
Oh,
I've had 2 pieces of toast and that's it.
I grabbed a mini roll as I ran upstairs.
So the only thing I would say that's really interesting was the stuff with the cars, the apprenticeship stuff. What does that mean exactly? The growth and the productivity thing, I think, is what I expected.
Yeah.
The NHS stuff I still feel like it's smoke and mirrors. Landlords thing, that was interesting. There was a lot of bickering going on in the background over that because they've all got second
Because they're
homes.
all landlords, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
As an investor, though, like now, you would not want to be a landlord. Like there is nowhere near
point.
the incentive to do it.
No, none at all.
So what I think my eyes glazed over at that point. Are they saying if you're renting a house, they're going to take even more tax off
Yeah,
of the
that
income
was it. I
from it?
can't find in my garbled notes how much, but yes, basically they're going to tax it even more. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, which doesn't sound much, but then
2% it was, another 2% on property.
Yeah, when you think
what is it at the moment?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember because I came out of it about 18 months ago because it was going in the wrong direction. But it by the time you've actually taken on the landlord responsibilities, maintenance of a property, if you've got it empty for 2 months, then they absolutely sting you on double the council tax with immediate effect. And they don't take that off unless you remember to tell them straight away. It isn't a very exciting opportunity anymore. It's not something.
One of my mates has got a handful of student houses in our local town.
HMOs.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've never really spoke to him about it. I don't know if he's going to get stung or not.
They're a bit of a different beast to the HMOs. I don't know too much about them. I've got friends that have them, but obviously because the yield on them is so much higher than a normal like residential let. Yeah. They do have a bit more margin in there, but obviously the wear and tear can be astronomical, and the management side.
Isn't it something stupid like £100 a week for a student now? So you've got five of them in your house.
Yeah,
and
it costs you a lot to get the license to be able to have it as an HMO.
Oh, right.
You have another tax there as well, licensing fee.
There's a
And
load
then-
of stuff you have to do as well with
Yeah,
like
and then they changed the
fire reg.
regulations.
Oh yeah, I knew about the fire reg side of things and all that, and
Fire, gas,
doors.
electrics.
You have to
fuel
get it tested every
containers,
year as well, don't you?
Yeah, anything that you leave in an HMO obviously has to be PAT tested annually as well, full certification.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things that when you're looking at like a chunk of money, you think, I want to invest in this. And then you realize how much work comes with that. There's nothing passive about being a landlord anymore. And you're so responsible.
It's true. It's true. And then also a lot of people borrow the money to buy the property, so they're paying for that on top. So they might only make like £2,000 or £3,000 to then find that all of that gets taken on tax anyway.
Absolutely.
Tolga says China has junkyards full of brand new EVs since at least 4 years ago. They can be older than 4 years though, but this is just what I can prove. Who knows what the real situation's like? So, yeah, they wanted to hit figures in China to produce the most EVs in the world to beat Tesla.
Yeah.
And so they built all these cars, and then
no one's bought them.
No, they pre-registered them and just they're sat in fields. There's miles and miles of them.
Oh my God!
What is the actual point of that?
It's just America is bad, China is best.
It's just one-upmanship all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just silly. And like a lot of that, I wonder how much. I mean, Chrysler used to do it when I was a techie for Chrysler. They would build, because we were so low volume in the UK, they would build all the Chrysler Voyagers and Neons and PT Cruisers. They would all be built in a day in America for the amount that we sold in the UK, and they'd just be shipped in one go. Anything that was special order just took forever. And I wonder if the cars here that we're getting are already old model years.
Possibly.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know if I'd want to buy a Chrysler if I had the chance.
Well, they weren't bad. They got a bad rap.
What's that? What's that one that looks a bit like a funeral hearse?
Yeah, that's the PT Cruiser.
Horrendous.
I had one of them. I had one. The mad bit is they weren't bad cars. They were pretty reliable. They were very strong. They were.
Did they only go well in a straight line though, like most American cars?
No, they were right. They were. They handled fairly all right.
Did they uprate the suspension for the UK market?
Yeah. Well, the mad bit is this is the stuff that Chrysler UK used to do. They weren't very organised, and they brought a load in, and they were badged up as 2 litre, and then it turned out they were all 2.4s. And they went like stink. They were rapid, but they burnt through fuel like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, they don't care about that in America, do they? The old fuel, it's peanuts.
But I think it's the same thing when you look at this budget. It looks like somebody that's really out of touch in the way that they're operating. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And then they've gone for some small wins, like the online gambling. They've just upset loads of...
that is going to upset a lot.
Yeah,
That's
but then they've gone for...
the dynamic of the employment as well. The guy I actually work with, he works for... can't remember which company it is. They've got 30,000 employees. It's massive. And they're saying already, though, that they were battling because he works with internal comms and looking after the communications of staffing, but they're constantly trying to automate as much as possible. So all that's going to do is mean that they're going to cut more jobs and find more automations.
Yeah. Yeah, of course I will.
Yeah. It's a massive jump as well, isn't it? 21 to 40.
Yeah. I thought that.
That is huge.
But bingo duty, you're all good at
all good at that.
All the old blue rinsers will be paying extra.
It's true. They'll be happy as Larry. And then the 2-child limit.
Oh, this boils me a little bit, this one.
What is that for the child benefit thing?
Yes, that's the child benefit to fix child poverty, but there's no accountability on where the money's spent. So you're just putting more money into the pockets of people that haven't got responsible decision-making skills. It doesn't help the children. They've got some money as it is. They just don't spend it in the right way.
I'll tell you exactly what that is. That's to win votes.
Exactly. It's to win votes. And it's to fuel, exactly like you're saying with the whatever you keep calling it, I keep forgetting the terminology of it, putting more people in that can vote for them. It's the same thing.
The stealth quantity.
Yeah, literally the same thing. Keep that demographic high and then they'll hit the rate where they're able to vote and the votes still come in. It's just, I mean, I see a lot of the children's side of it through my mum's work, and it's horrific. Like the poverty and the lack of care and the lack of food and the lack of clothing and all of that is really bad. But giving the money to the parents is not the solution.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like, I mean, there was somebody actually came into my coffee shop last Christmas and we ended up doing a massive, massive food parcel for an area literally 15 minutes from me that I didn't even know had a deprivation problem, because they had been firsthand at something in the area to support kids, and children were telling them about how they were eating corrugated cardboard out of packaging bins because they were so hungry.
Flipping it, man.
Like, and that's in East Yorkshire.
Jeez Louise.
But those parents that are having multiple children with that kind of situation are not the kind of parents that are going to then go and do a shop of diced beef, vegetables, and make healthy food. They're not going to do that.
No. It's true. I mean,
proper soapbox moment is that for me. I'm sorry, but it's...
Well, I'll give you an example. We did a thing and we gave... we went and bought loads of shopping with Christmas luxuries. So, like, all the good stuff that you have in the cupboard at Christmas, your packet, your big tubes of Twiglets and all that.
Oh, I love a Twiglet.
And we were taking them around to houses that were deemed to, like, people that had asked for help. Yeah. And this one person answered the door. I gave her 2 bags of shopping. Bearing in mind, at the time, I was broke.
Yeah.
And struggling. She opened the door and I said, I brought you some food. Oh, that's so wonderful. Gosh, I thought that was the PlayStation we were having delivered from Amazon.
I'll have that back, thank you. See ya.
And I was like,
what I mean.
On earth? I can't afford a PlayStation for my kids.
No, but because you've got responsibility in your decision making. Like, this is exactly my point.
And I've seen it.
They have it with the stuff like the clothing. Like, we've done things where, as my boys have grown out of stuff, we send massive, massive bags of clothes that are, some I'd say are gardenified, some are way nicer than that. They sell them on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh.
So the kids don't even get the clothes.
No.
And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, we had one of the houses we lived in, there was a newsagent's at the end of the street, and I used to go in there to get, like, you run out of milk or whatever, it's great. And there was this lady, she had 2 kids. It was winter. She was in there buying vodka and scratch cards, cigarettes, and her kids had holes in their shoes and it was snowing. And I could not stop myself from saying something. And I was like, don't serve her any of that. She needs to get her kids' shoes.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was a lovely bloke, the guy that had the newsagents, a Sikh guy. And he obviously can't see because he's like behind the counter. He came out from behind the counter and he was madder than I was.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't take your kids out in the snow with no, like, full on their toes and sticking out the front.
This
and
is what I mean.
Kids. And it's, I just don't think... Yeah, I don't think necessarily giving loads of money like that is necessarily going to work. Although I do think there will be some people that are in a middle place where they're working, they get a bit of benefits, and actually that will really help them.
Yeah, they're just they're not the mass demographic on that one.
No, and so where's all that money coming from for all those people? Because that's a lot of money
on
that one. That's got to be in the billions.
It will be, because they're not going necessarily from 2 to 3. They could be going 2 to 5 or 2 to 6.
It's madness. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll end this live stream here.
Yes.
If you guys hang on. Ben, do you want to say goodbye? Tell them about your business before you go.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching our waffle. And yeah, so I'm Ben from Feedback Nexus. So basically it is an online platform that allows small companies that sell software products to collect and collate feedback from their customers, so to help drive their products forward. So for more information, just go to feedbacknexus.com, all one word, and check it out.
Polly, sorry, that way.
Sorry, so hi, I'm Polly Aitken. Again, thank you very much for watching the, whatever we want to call it, ramblings of the budget 2025. I'm the owner and founder of Aitken Venture Group, and I help specialise in business branding, lots of talk to camera training, consultancy, heavily based around that, and helping you get to the next level, whether that's in life, business, or just levelling up. So yeah, check me out. I'm on all social media platforms, and I'll be launching the podcast hopefully in the next couple of days with John's help.
There you go. And you know me already if you're watching this channel. But if you don't, I've started a new consultancy. Check it out, 24NRD Consultancy. We're on YouTube as well. I will probably put this broadcast on there. So yeah, go and check it out. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flip-flop. And thank you, chat. Thank you, Tolga, tuning in, keeping the conversation. We appreciate it. Love you all. Catch you on the flip side.
See you later.
Bye.